Represento las calles de mi tierra, mi bandera, ay, mi bandera, Puerto Rico y todos los latinos, sonamos con...
I'm Tom Hannafin from TNA Wrestling. You're watching the Jedi Sports Network.
You're watching Jedi Sports Network with Kev.
Good day, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final countdown as we are live streaming here from the City Beautiful here on the Sports Jedi Network. We're wrapping up a chaotic week in the wrestling world. Today it's WWE Backlash tonight and Tampa, but the road has come to a conclusion. We're going to talk about all the different things from the monstrous statement made against the tribal chief, from the complete redefining of the TNA Knockouts division. We saw an anarchy prelude in AEW and has the stage set for Double or Nothing. And we're going to talk about that each and every more. We're going to say our final goodbyes and as the cookie crumbles for the Gingerbread Man. But I want to bring in everyone tonight before we bring in all our partners. Well, we are sponsored by Dude Wipes. Dude Wipes in the Sports Jedi Network. We're wiping out the competition. Also by Blackout Coffee. Stand ups, wake up, be unapologetic. Go to blackoutcoffee.com. At checkout, Sports Jedi 20 and save 20% off. And G Fuel. Fuel your energy, fuel your soul, fuel your stream. Go to gfuelenergy.com and put PGH Chris and save on all their products. Enough. We're going to say hello to the panel, the dais. Let's go to the sharpest mind. PGH Chris, buenas tardes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody. Kevin Hoss, happy to be with you guys here again on a Saturday to talk some pro wrestling. Yes, we got Backlash tonight. Looking like a good card. I like the Io Sky and Asuka and the main event, which we'll definitely talk a little bit, predict about. I thought AEW wasn't the best show this week. I thought TNA had a fine show. They're getting ready for a live show next week. So we're going to talk about it, just like Kev said, but it's great to be with you guys here again on another Wednesday. Or excuse me, Saturday. Holy hell, this is not Wednesday, Hoss. Saturday. Saturday.
And let's bring it to the man with the hard-hitting facts and truth, the one and only Haas Knuckleboo. What's going? Good afternoon, pal.
How we doing, folks? And how did y'all enjoy the funeral last night? Did you pay your respects? Did you have your milk in your additional cookies? I did. I enjoyed it. If you hated it, you can talk about it too. I'm going to respect you just the same. We're going to talk about Backlash. We're going to review everything else that happened this week. We're going to have some fun. So glad to be here. I'm glad everybody else is here to see us. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate everyone that joined us. Let's go right into the hot topic, or it's how the cookie crumbled last night on SmackDown with the funeral of the Gingerbread Man. We know this is a lightning rod. We spoke at it. We elaborated after the watch along on SmackDown for about an hour ourselves, and appreciate everyone that tuned in and was part of the aftermath or kind of a post show for SmackDown. Had a lot of fun breaking it down. We gave you our hard-hitting, honest opinions and truth and thoughts. From a kind of, you could say, a mature point of view from two mature gentlemen, where we're talking about this. But now we're seeing all these stuff. I'm having fun because I know people complain there's a few people that don't like the AI slop or the interaction of AI or the pictures. I'm having fun putting the Gingerbread Man in some of my memories from last year. He was with us at Slammiversary. You know, he was with us hanging out with Joe Henry. He's a believer. So I'm having fun with it. I want to hear your thoughts, Chris, with the whole Gingerbread Man, different perspective, a younger point of a reaction of a different generation from us.
So I don't hate this at all. I don't love it, but there is a lot of people raging over the Gingerbread Man. Why don't I hate this? Because I'm not gonna lie. When I saw Lil Yachty rise up, I had a straight face for some of it, but Lil Yachty rising up had me kind of laughing a little bit. That was funny. That Sami Zayn going out there. I see what they're doing. I maybe didn't see it last week. I think this is to get Sammy over as a heel. Again, I think Lil Yachty's involvement isn't too much. We don't see him every single week. I think he's doing his role as a celebrity better than most have come in recently. The reason why I maybe wasn't my cup of tea, like I said last week, was I mean, it does kind of, when the gingerbread, no one's in the, I can see the general idea of why people won't like this, which is why I wanted to give it a week. I didn't say much on last week's show. I just said it's not my cup of tea for now. We'll see how the funeral goes. And it got me to laugh. It got me to laugh a little bit. I do hope this was, obviously, because it was the funeral and all that, we're not going to see the Gingerbread Man anymore. So let's, if everybody that's really upset about it, I guess that's a positive for you guys. But it was funny seeing the Gingerbread Man in the what's it called, in the memories. Like, he was there when they did the Cena, the famous one, and he's there. I got a laugh out of that. I mean, when Kev posted it this morning, when we got me, him, and Chef and the Gingerbread Man behind us, I got a laugh out of it. I see why it's not anyone, I can see why it's not your cup of coffee, but this was not the worst SmackDown I've ever seen. This was not the worst SmackDown segment I've ever seen. I attended a lot of the SmackDown live shows. I watched WWE in 2019. This doesn't even close. In 2019, we were getting conga lines by No Way Jose every freaking week. Every single week, more than once a segment. You cannot, guys, it's not that bad. There are some things that, okay, you have all them dressed in black back there, mourning. That's probably the only thing that's like, okay, you could, whatever. But it's not, I see some people generally like getting their blood pressure riled up. It's not bad. Again, I don't love it. I don't hate it. Parts of it I found funny. It's not bad, guys. It's not. I don't know what else to say other than it's not bad. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's not terrible. It just might not be your cup of tea, and that's fine. But there's a little bit of exaggeration in the community, and I know you guys spoke very much about that yesterday. So I do want to hear more of what you guys think. But yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's not something that people need to be going on a rant for.
No, and we were looking at it, Haas. It was fun. The R-Truth segment with Ginger, but when he pops up and he gives Sammy the kiss on the cheek and throws a kiss at the Gingerbread Man, hilarious. Was there a lot of embellishing, like you said, all the different people in the back of the funeral crying and having a conversation? But that's what you're supposed to do in a wake. When you're in a wake and you're in a funeral, all I was waiting for them to pass some plates around for some food, but I forgot this is TKO. They didn't even have a piece of fruit for the Hall of Famers to eat. Kevin Nash had low blood sugar. They didn't even give him a piece of, so expect food at the catering and at the funeral. But Haas, your thoughts. Give me your thoughts. I know you mentioned it, or we spoke about it, but Chris wasn't available with us. And of course, maybe we get a whole different audience as well, internationally as well. Your thoughts.
When it comes down to the Gingerbread Man, I enjoyed it. I was crying, laughing. I found it very entertaining. I was sports entertained. But when it comes to other people, I can see why it bothered them, because they have been conditioned to watch wrestling a different way. They want to watch a lot of nonstop hitting and striking and fighting and all that. And we get that in different mediums of wrestling all week. And we get it's a mixed bag of the results that we get. So we have to, I ain't gonna say we, because I don't work for the WWE, but this brand must expand its base. They just can't be having diehard Graps watchers all the time. They want families to come watch this. They want their grandmothers and grandfathers to come watch it with little Timmy and all those kids. So you got to have things that bring levity. And a lot of wrestling fans, from what I noticed, they're very selfish with their wrestling. They like to gatekeep their wrestling. So it's only for me. It can't. They must please me. Everybody else be damned. And that's the problem. We are a wrestling family. We are a family in graps. So everybody's not going to like everything. Everybody's not going to hate everything. You want people to keep trying. And that's the problem with wrestling today in 2026 with all brands. A lot of them are not trying enough. They're not putting up new ideas. They're not building new stars like they should. The problem is not the Gingerbread Man. The problem is the booking. I mean, that's booking here, booking on Wednesdays, booking on Saturdays, booking on Mondays. That's the problem. And everybody's trying to, they just want to know, who do I blame? I'm blaming Triple H. I'm blaming TKO. I'm blaming Nick Khan. Now I'm going to blame the Gingerbread Man. You're running out of people to blame. If you don't like the product, you either need to adjust your schedule to something else or just keep watching and wait to see things play out. Because I don't want people to have strokes on streams over the Gingerbread Man. I don't want people up here getting sick over a wrestling program. We have lives to live, people. So don't lose your mind over this, people. Please don't. So that's what I got for you, Kev. That's what I took for it. But I was here crying with you last night with sports entertainment from the Gingerbread Man.
Oh man, we loved it. We enjoyed it. And if that makes us, you know what? I'd rather have a little joy than to be bitter, be upset, yelling at the top of my lungs. And you know what? Granted. And I don't care if there's only, and I'm, I don't care if there's only 2 people watching this show today. I'm not gonna, you know what? Fine. But I'm not going to let it. I'm still gonna be, when I turn off the stream, I'll have my fun time hanging out with Haas, with PGH Chris, with NapGod, those that came on. Great. It's not gonna lose my joy or my smile, or and I'm not gonna have to sit around and circle jerk myself. Oh, I got 2,300 motherfuckers watching me and 2,000 likes. Good for you. Because that's the. Oh, look, I don't need to start self gloating. I'm gonna be happy enjoying the product on Friday, enjoying to watch the Gingerbread. I laughed, I enjoyed it. I had so much fun with it. I even had fun making myself part of the goof. Having the Gingerbread in the background. So what? Great. Wrestling's always had the levity, the comedy, the stuff, the Macho Man wedding. Who the hell is you're watching a wrestling show and there's a fucking wedding in 1980 something with the Macho Man. And one of the gifts was a fucking cobra. I mean, seriously, it's been around. It's been around. Cake, people smacking into a cake. How many times there's been goofball stuff in weddings from Stephanie McMahon to Lita to there's always been some type of comedic in wrestling. If you're looking, like you said, it's the gatekeeper. If it's going to bring you anger, pissed off, bothered, take a break. I use myself an example. Okay, the Yankees, man, the way their style of baseball last year, 2 years, even when even got Juan Soto, they weren't playing fundamentally sound. I took a break. I said, you know what? I'm not gonna let this piss me off, get me angry, and I took a break. And I haven't come back because now I'm watching slowly but surely some of the Yankees again. Diehard Yankee fan. I got nothing but Yankee memorabilia, jerseys galore. I got more shirts and more jerseys than anything. I took a break. Took a break this year of the New York Knicks. They're probably going to win an NBA title. And I took a break of the 82 games. I did for 4 years straight. Just getting upset with the gatekeeping and wishful thinking of every basketball player the Knicks got to get, and not really. And I took a break. My point is, if wrestling is getting you to that point where it's going to put you to there, I'd rather take a break, step back, relax, do something different. Still keep an eye, keep enjoying it, but not to the point where it's going to cause you to be angry, bothered. Just take a break then. It's okay to take a break. Take a step back and breathe.
And think about it. A lot of people, they have just reduced SmackDown last night to the Gingerbread Man. The show was fine last night.
Yes.
Like everybody's burying the show because of the main event that happened last night. Just be real about it. Of all the segments you saw last night, other than probably Jacob and the Usos, you're going to talk about the funeral of the Gingerbread Man more than anything else that you saw last night. and they proved our point. Like, you hate it, you love it. The interactions. This is what TKO is going to present to you on tonight at Backlash and on Monday night. How many of the social media interactions they got from that last night? It's going to be in the millions. I guarantee you that. It's going to probably be the highest rated segment of the show from last night. But everybody's telling you it's cooked. SmackDown is dead. No, it's not. It's not. This might be the highest rating for SmackDown all year. And it's going to prove everybody that says it's cooked wrong. They're going to say, oh, man, I don't want to be around you. You're an idiot. I don't want to hear anything you got to say. I'm like, that's the problem with wrestling discourse right now. That's the problem. You create the division, and then you want to be like, oh, why do you talk to me so bad on the internet? You're the whipping boys of it. And a lot of people in this space do that. So many of them. But yeah, SmackDown was a fine show last night. And to reduce it to just a Gingerbread Man, you're disingenuous. You're doing the show. You're not doing the show any justice.
And Haas, I want you to, and Chris as well. You're included. Here's this. Look, Haas, if you could read the screen, you see the tribal court?
Yes.
3.7 million. Roman Reigns 1,000 celebration, 2.9. Tribute of Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk, 2.8 million. The Rock returned to the Bloodline segment, 2.8 million.
Yes.
The Rock and Roman Cody Seth face off, 2.83 million. What does that all have in common? Whichever. I'm gonna ask the question to you guys. What do they all have in common?
They're not wrestling segments.
They're segments. They're
They're
not a wrestling
segments.
match.
That's what I was gonna say. They're segments.
That
was my answer. Yeah.
That proves what? It works.
Yeah.
You don't need to. That proves your point and the point that is being out there.
It's a lot of people that think the graps carry the show. That's just the meat of the show. The thing the sandwich, you got to have the bread. The bread is the promos. The bread is the segments that bring it along, and that's a big part of your sandwich. Like if you didn't want a sandwich, you would just ate some meat. Many people are not just doing that. People want a sandwich. So yes, you can't be up here saying, "Oh man, they talk too much. Oh, they're doing too much extra stuff on my wrestling show." Man, if it was just strictly wrestling, are we going to talk about it later? Wednesday gives you that, and it was boring television. I'd rather have something that we talk about the next day or after the show than just like say, man, I was bored. And people you have to readjust your wrestling eye if you're just looking for that. Because we talked about it last night. If you want to just see straight graps, go to your local indie show. They're going to give you that. And people need your financial backing. They need that. Other than watching 3 hours of this that makes you mad, go watch you some indie wrestling and go help feed some families. Do that. But yeah, we have to adjust what we're watching these days as a wrestling family.
I agree with you. One of the good stuff that came out of SmackDown was where people were complaining and how bad and how much a little bit of a disconnect was the women tag team title picture with Fatal Influence. That fresh breath of fresh air in that division with those three women. Not only that, then having Lash Legend and you had your tag team champions in Paige in the ring with Brie Bella. Then you had Fatal Influence trying to putting them on notice. Then you had the Irresistible Forces. Then all of a sudden the confrontation of Paige getting busted open in her head and all that stuff. How strong Fatal Influence going to that tag match looks. But people want to harp about a comedy session, from the Gingerbread. No one's talking about the great and before Friday Night SmackDown occurred, the complaint was on Monday Night Raw the women were not featured or the women were poorly booked. When we're going to talk about that as well because we're talking about the women here. But look what they did. Look what Fatal Influence has done. Look at the match between Tiffany Stratton and Kiana James. A hell of a United States title match with storylines implication afterwards. I mean, Chris, am I wrong here?
No, I think Fatal Influence, them coming to SmackDown, it helps that women's division a lot. I mean, we've said it, and I know a lot of people have said it too, the SmackDown women's division needed something with a lot of the top women on Raw before Rhea got traded and all that stuff. They're making them a big deal. And not just JC. I mean, they got a big win last night. I thought it was a good match. They're going to continue to have an impact on SmackDown, specifically JC. JC's going to end up, maybe in Saudi, probably fighting Rhea for the women's championship over on SmackDown. I don't know if she'll win it, but they might even do something to protect her, because I think they see something in JC Jane going later on this year, early next year for that SmackDown division. So I like it. I enjoy JC Jane's work. I enjoy Fatal Influence. I think Lainey, I don't know if I was the biggest Lainey Reed fan of her joining the group. I know you probably weren't as well. But she's holding her ground. I believe so. So no, I enjoy Fatal Influence on SmackDown. And JC Jane's badass. And we got to see a little bit of her firsthand. I know you got to see a lot of her firsthand. So yeah, she's killing it, man. She's killing it.
Not only that, Haas, we got the return of Jade Cargill in the group.
Yeah.
It was tremendous. It was tremendous. You saw how I popped when I saw it last night. So yes. The biggest thing wrestling fans need to realize when it comes down to the women's division, they're doing a lot of things. We talked about the boogeyman, AI. AI is up here scanning these segments, how many social interactions they're getting from these segments. Nick Khan's usually there live in person every night. He's hearing the visceral reactions from the people in the crowd. So if you're not making noise for these women, and if you're not up here turning your TVs on for these segments, it is your fault that they're not getting as much time as you want them to have. That's all this is about. It's about the numbers. It's not about the so-called, equality and this and that people want in real life. Who's generating the bucks around here? And in wrestling, the wrestling crowd is mostly male, and the wrestling crowd mostly wants to see male-dominated action. Right or wrong, however you feel about that. That's just a historical fact. So if you want to see more women on TV, please make noise for them in the stadiums. Like you seen JC Jane getting booed out of the arena. That's the type of stuff. Play along. And play along correctly. I'm glad they're not up here cheering JC Jane. She's a heel. They're doing right by her. Boo her out of here. So if you get Rhea there, when they hear this is my brutality, they sit up there, they're all loud. They're making all the noises they're supposed to make. Play along as you should. Because if they're not getting any reactions, the next show, the next Monday night or the next Friday, you're not going to see any of these women. And you're going to be more up in arms about it. You're going to be like, see, they're doing the women dirty. No, you're doing the women dirty by not doing the service, the fan service as you're supposed to be doing. So we got to have some accountability out here. That's all. We got to have some real accountability as fans. You can't pass the buck and blame to everybody else. You got to look inward sometime. And I know fans don't want to do that, but they got to look inward sometime.
I totally agree. Thank you, Devin. Thank you for the comment, Snapguard. Of course, Anthony Manzano, awesome. He had some great points there. Definitely keep the conversation going, guys. We acknowledge everyone in the chat. We appreciate everyone because your voice is heard, your voice is amplified, and we acknowledge you for putting those comments out there. Put the ones up for all you guys in the chat. Thank you so much. As much as I like JC Jane, I believe at best she's a high mid-card wrestler in the women's division. I don't think she's a main event level threat on the main roster, no matter how they book her. Only time will tell on that statement because JC Jane did a hell of a job being the face of two brands, NXT and TNA over the summer. She's been proving every time there's an obstacle or door down, she's been knocking it and proving people wrong. Or, wait a minute, and makes you rethink. And that's great because that means she's thriving. She's hungry and she's evolving. She hasn't peaked or plateaued on her level of dominance or growth, which I like. And that's what you want with any wrestler, not just JC Jane, with any professional wrestler, the level of growth and not you don't want to see the ceiling. You want to see the unlimited growth, the potential of a talent. And she's proven us wrong. And I love it. I'm loving what I'm seeing from her. And like you said, Haas, we have to, if a heel is a heel and they're supposed to be a heel, boo the shit out of them. Even, if you don't like them, boo them because they hear it and then they're on television. If they come out to crickets, and I hate to use this person as an example, Candice LeRae gets crickets. You don't see her on television, just in backstage segment because she's trying to tell Gargano's segment. But they put out to wrestle, crickets. Natalia, the online Discord, oh, we need a low-key legend. We need her on television. We got her for brief moments when she came out. Crickets. Quiet. Why are we going to put people that's going to put crickets where there's no vibe coming to your television? I'm going to turn to streaming. I'm going to watch something else. And the people, because in the arena, people are not cheering. Chris, do you have to agree with this, or give me another point of view, or your thought?
No, I agree with 100%. We've talked about this a lot because, you know, some of these people come up and they want to, I don't know, explain it. Like, I understand the social media and you like these people, right? That's why there's a lot of quote unquote tweeners in wrestling, because they're a heel, but people just like them. You got to boo them. That helps their character grow. It helps casual fans understand who the bad guy and who the good guys are on these shows. And it's very important. Just again, like Hoss said, cheer the right way, because, and I understand if you like a heel, like cheer, it's nothing wrong with that. But if you're in a whole arena and JC Jane, we're using her as an example, right, is beating up Rhea Ripley, you got to boo. Rhea Ripley is the biggest baby face on SmackDown. So I would even do it too as a fan of JC Jane to get that reaction. So Hoss is spot on. Just react the right way, and you'll see a big difference, not just in the female wrestlers too, even in those underground, you know, lower mid card tier wrestlers that some of you guys like. Cheer for them.
Yes.
The biggest thing, and I'll come with what Anthony was talking about with the fans. With the fans is everybody wants to be heard and everybody wants to be represented. And when you're watching these shows, you have to acknowledge some things on the show you're not going to like, but you're here for the ride. The thing about it is all your favorite wrestlers are not going to make the show every week. You have to be okay with that. You have a finite amount of time for these shows. And so if your person don't get highlighted this week, hopefully they're on next week. Now, if it snowballs and they're not on for 2 or 3 months, that's when you should be worried. I understand that. And another thing when it comes to making stars, I'm a big Jade Cargill fan. I have to boo Jade Cargill because she's a heel. This is what I have to do. It might hurt me because I'm booing someone I like, but that's the reaction she wants. It's better than no reaction at all. A lot of fans don't realize that. They be like, oh, well, I don't like the segment. Well, I'm not going to react at all. That don't work. If you don't like a segment, boo it then. Boo it. I mean, if you want to be heard, you are a character in this show. A lot of these fans have main character syndrome. If you do have this, make some noise. If you paid $2,000 to go to SmackDown, you best believe I'm going to make some noise. I'm going to get my money's worth. At every bit of it. So it is your fault if you go up here, you pay these high ticket prices and don't play along as you should. And that's also one of the biggest problems fans have with the product today. It's not even about the bad booking. That's my biggest thing about it. But if you're up here spending your hard-earned money on these things and it's so expensive, you're gonna be upset. So I empathize with fans on that. But you also made a choice to buy these tickets. You can easily watch from home like we do. You could do that. You really could do that. Like, trust me, I'm pretty sure your kids or your significant other would appreciate that money going elsewhere than saying you spent $5,000 to go to Backlash. I'm pretty sure.
Look, it's the same we were talking about. Boo, cheer, and people think they're entitled because of the amount of money you spend. I'm entitled to boo and cheer who I want. And you know what? To a degree, you're correct. You're spending a shitload of money. No one tells you, how to spend your money when you wait. It's like some of us get up at 3, and we work in all types of weather, hot, heat. If you're in the southern part where no humidity outdoors, the sun blazing on you, and if the person wants to spend their hardworking money and they want to cheer a baby face or a heel or boo a baby, whatever, I understand that. But having no reaction is my point. You gotta do some type of reaction. You can't have crickets because that's something that it's a red flag for the agents, bookers, TKO management. The bottom line. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention as well was with the what was I gonna say about that fan interaction? Where I'm gonna move on because I just lost train of thought for a moment. Let's go with the SmackDown, the final with the Gingerbread Man. Oh, here it is. I got it back. We're talking about the Gingerbread. I understand when you get a little upset that you're not seeing certain talent for quite like you said. We have LA Knight is in the danger of not being seen on television now almost 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. Carmelo Hayes, they kind of said an injury to the knee where he might be returning. Maybe he returns tonight. Ilya Dragunov, not my cup, but he hasn't been on television either. Mm-hmm. I understand. Well, they're putting Ray Phoenix. They brought him they brought him to the funeral. It was on television. I understand where the point of view of the gripe is to not like the Gingerbread where you have these matches, but other than Mello to a degree, because Mello's voice sometimes get a little. None of them really are great on the mic. You Phoenix, Ilya, just LA Knight, but LA Knight seems to copy and paste the same thing no matter who it is. Whatever everybody's saying, that's.
Kev, I get exactly what you're saying, and this goes back to what I was talking about with bad booking. If you don't give these characters something that they can really do, they're gonna fall to the wayside. Because we had Mello and we had Ilya Dragunov with long U.S. title open challenges. We had that. Some of the best parts of SmackDown on Friday nights. But if you don't have that, they're not interesting without the title around their waist. And that's the biggest problem here. And I get the gripes of fans. They want to see these guys. But you want to see these guys do something that matters. Like if they sit up here just running through people on the roster, you're going to get bored really quickly. And you can't have them beating these guys on the roster so much as well, because they're going to look OP. And then when they run across a guy like Cody Rhodes and they lose, you're like, oh man, what happened? He was on a 10-match winning streak. How come he can't beat the world champion? Because he's the world champion. That's it. It's all about plot. The belts are plot devices. Like that's a big thing. Fans need to be re-educated on how to watch this medium. That's the problem. Like you're not progressing with that belt. You got to have the storyline to go behind that belt. That's why when Roman Reigns say it's the man who makes the title, not the title who makes the man. That's a fact. Like when you see Roman Reigns on Monday nights, and this is the gripe with people because they say he's a part-timer. They want to see him every week, and I understand that. I get that. If I'm paying $2,500 on financing for a ticket, I want to see the champion. I get it. That's a gripe I understand. But when it comes to Mello and Ilya and LA Knight, they are being mismanaged by the booking. It's not by anything of their own. They're doing their jobs. It's just like they have nothing for them. Bruce Pritchard, Triple H, Ryan Ward, we can go through all the names of these guys and the women in the creative room. They can't do multiple stories at one time. Mm-hmm. They can only focus on like 2 or 3 stories between 2 brands at a time. And that's going to cost people their jobs. That's the problem. Like Mello Hayes is one of the best wrestlers on that roster. I'm pretty sure the rest of the panel would agree with that.
Yeah, he's great.
The fact is they don't have a story for him. And that's the worst thing. We would have the same problem if Trick Williams didn't have the Gingerbread Man. That we could talk. Let's talk about it. The Gingerbread Man is actually helping Trick Williams out. You got people saying it's burying him. It's not. It's giving him something to do. It's giving Sami Zayn something to do. Who his heat had got so extinguished, we had to bring comedic levels back to bring him back up. That's where we're at. So you could bury the Gingerbread comedy series if you want to. It's actually helping out too, man.
That's Trick Williams' talent. This is how you know people are just bandwagon wrestling fans at the moment, momentarily. Because if you really watch Matrick Belton, which is Trick Williams, if you watch him from his very inception, from the WWE, entering the WWE, watching him when he was the security guard for Colonel Assis and Apollo Crews gimmick, part of the NXT Rise in 2.0, he had that boxing gimmick with the punch and so forth. And then you saw his YouTube series, Trickin' Ain't Easy. He's comedic. He's gifted. He is uber funny. That's Trick. Trick is, if you see him in the house shows, working around. I've said this many times from Trick Williams. I seen him when he was the heel, still as a heel, zing a little kid, not in a negative, nasty way. You know how? With a simple thumb wrestling game. The comedy. That's who Trick Williams is. Trick Williams is using this gimmick and helping, again, you now Sami Zayn unhinged. If Sami Zayn is heading towards the dark side as the heel, it's playing out. Slow. It's not you instant gratification. If you're looking for that, you're not going to get it. Trick Williams, they're doing it with the comedic angle, with the gingerbread man. Like you said, he would have been doing nothing. It would have been, you were, what was it, 6 weeks ago, everybody was complaining about the open challenge. Oh, the United States title is nothing but open challenge matches after match after match. No reasons. And this is the same. Yeah, you do you, JD 206. The same one that complains. We need storytelling. I don't want an open challenge. They're telling you a story and you're shitting it. But meanwhile, you were shitting it when it was open challenge. That shit's got to go away. Do you want me to stick it in your ass or pull it out? It's plain and simple, motherfucker.
Oh, that's a funny way to put that. That's hilarious. Oh, before we move on, I see shout out to Aaron. I see you out there. You say I missed the ruthless aggression era. I get where you're going with that. The biggest thing is the ruthless aggression era had a bunch of stars. They had a bunch of stars that came from a different era that keep it moving along. We are in an era where we don't have that many stars. We got good wrestlers. We don't have many stars. So we have to make these stars. And the problem is the booking is so bad. It's hard to make stars with bad booking. As we can see, like Anthony Monzano was talking about Obafemi. Obafemi is going to have a crossroads that comes really. He's going to be at a crossroads at SummerSlam. Because if they don't have really anything for him, the fans are going to start giving him less reactions. And he's going to suffer from it. Again, because he has done anything wrong because he's a fine wrestler. They can't book him. They can't. If you can't book Melo Hayes, you can't book Obafemi, you can't book Ilya Dragunov. There's a common denominator here. And it's not those men and women that are wrestling. It's the people with the pen. That's all.
There was a good tweet. I want to give the kid credit. And yes, because Anthony's been great with the comments. Yes, Ray Phoenix is being positioned to go after the lightweight champion in AAA against Laredo Kid. And seeing him on WWE television is reminding you of AAA. And he's the number one contender. They are using Ray Phoenix, but it's not on your Friday night shows or on your Mondays. They're using him on the AAA show to get that going and get that acclimated, getting his wrestling bumps and getting next time you might see Ray Phoenix. He might have the AAA lightweight title around his shoulder. So so seeing him on television, they're still using him. Gotcha, I get that point. I wanted to talk about the showing of the talents. They got to show these different talents. They got to show. And I saw a good quote, a tweet talking about people want 30 men in the main event and they want 10 different world champions in a short matter of time. Not everyone could be world champion. You can't want to book everyone in the main event because then you run out of them right away. And then you call hot shot and switching the titles so much. And you see that, and I hate to go with the whatism, but you see that with All Elite Wrestling. Mm-hmm. MJF just won the title, and Darby Allin just won the title, and they're already hot shotting and already booking when MJF is going to win the title at Double Nothing, and then to drop it to Will Ospreay, and then Will Ospreay, Bobby Lashley, but then Bobby Lashley, Hangman Page. You can't do that. Gotta calm down. You don't have to go on a 1,316 days title reigns, but you can't be right away. The champion is there. Let's see if they make some money. Remember, at the end of the day, these owners are owners, whether it's Tony Khan, TKO, Anthem Sports, they got to try to make some money investing in their product. So if there's a champion that could bring them to make money, relax, because it's a business decision.
Mm-hmm.
Let me read. Yeah, Chris, read that one up there.
I agree. I said this earlier. Fans are bipolar. They're happy when they get what they want, but also happy. Yeah, look how they get booked in their head. Listen, wrestling is I don't know who I've heard this from, probably from you guys. It is a buffet. I mean, you don't like something one day, good. There's wrestling 7 days a week. 5 out of the 7 days, 6 out of the 7 days. I mean, there's something there for everybody. So I again, the fans going crazy again. you could have a feeling, okay, I don't like this now, and then like I didn't really enjoy it last week, and then they did something this week. Okay, I thought some of it was funny. Like, you can not like something one week and then gravitate it towards it the next week. I think it's very possible, but yes, I do agree with that. It's not going to be booked for you. We can sit here, we can give ideas, we can predict, we can fantasy book, but 9 times out of 10, even we know it's not going to go like that. It's just what we think, what we want to see as fans. It's we can't expect what we say to really play out. We don't have that much of a fucking influence, people.
I mean, there's a big difference in stardom these days. We got wrestling stars and we have mainstream stars. They're trying to make mainstream stars. We only have maybe about 5 or 6 wrestling stars that's in the WWE at this point. I mean, if we're being truly honest, they get real strong reactions every time they come out. It's about 6 of them. When it comes to AEW, there's probably about 3. And I'm being generous on that one. Like, MJF, Kenny Omega? I mean, who? Other than that,
I wouldn't even say Kenny Omega.
Yeah, he's a wrestling star, but again, I can't go back. Yeah, Chris Jericho. Okay, fine. His own fan base don't like him, but yeah, he's a star. So
he goes outside of the company. He's loved from Metal, from Rapazi, and heck, like Chris says it 1,000 times. If there's no Chris Jericho, there is no TBS.
There you go. That's right. Okay. So when we come down to using the word star, we got to be truthful about that word. That's a big word in this community, and a lot of people misuse it.
I agree.
I can say that Jade Cargill is a star. She looks like a star. No, people don't know her like that. It's the truth.
Correct.
Yeah,
no, I agree 100%.
Yeah, same thing. Like outside of Punk, Cody Rhodes, and
Roman Reigns.
Seth
Rollins maybe because he's on NFL Good Morning Football.
Yeah, he's starting to get there.
Seth Rollins is starting to get that mainstream.
Yeah, he's making a way. Seth Rollins is actually bigger than Randy Orton right now, and people will say I'm crazy for saying that, but mainstream wise, people don't know Randy Orton.
Seth. I wake up to Good Morning Football. Seth's on my TV.
Yes,
I think that's what Good Morning on Football is probably on all these gyms. Oh, I've seen that guy. He's in the WWE. I know Seth Rollins. I don't watch him. I don't watch it, but I know who he is.
And then look at Danhausen. Danhausen arguably the biggest star right now in wrestling because he's on ESPN all over it. People
cursing
know
Stephen A. Smith and the Knicks.
Yes, people know Danhausen before they know anybody in AEW. That's crazy. That's a fact. And that's not, if you think I'm sliding AEW on that, you need to rewire your thinking on that one. You need to rewire your thinking. I'm just
talking about difference between wrestling stars and mainstream stars.
Yeah, it's a big
you go in the middle of New York City Times Square and ask these names, they're gonna look at you like they'll look at you like
they'll look at you funny. They'll look at you funny, and if you show them MJF, that might be the only person, maybe.
Because that's
it.
I'm talking about the people he listed.
Yeah.
Out of this list, the only people that you will get maybe, okay, I've seen him on Happy Gilmore or something, whatever, is MJF because he does a lot of media and radio and stuff when he's champ. So out of this, like, again, Aaron, there's a difference between mainstream stars, and wrestling stars. Every person you named in your list, they're probably wrestling stars, but they're not stars. The only person you could argue with that list is MJF.
Yeah,
I don't even think Moxley's there yet. I don't even think Moxley's there, guys.
No, Moxley's not there yet.
I think people will know Mercedes over Moxley.
Yes,
because of the Mandalorian, and she doesn't even have a big role in the Mandalorian. She doesn't.
Wrestling star.
We got to agree to disagree on that one, Aaron. Wrestling.
Yes, they're stars. They're stars, but in a different galaxy, far away.
We just got to agree to disagree on that one. Like in their medium, they're making their way. But
they're stars, but we're getting people on sports radio questioning how grown men are into wrestling. Like, these people aren't fucking stars.
They're not mainstream stars.
Again, Roman Reigns is a star.
Yeah,
he's on everything. Cody, you could maybe him. right? But I mean, unless you're a Batista, look at Batista, Rock, and Cena in the wrestling business. Those are fucking stars. I don't know how else to put it. Don't know how else to put it, Kevin.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it.
If you're not a Batista, Cena, or Rock, those are stars.
Like, truth be told, The Rock is maybe one of the biggest stars of all time.
I think Batista's killing it right now, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No, and The Rock's the biggest guy in Hollywood. Arguably.
Oh yeah, man. The highest paid actor going is Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So,
and Cena's a hell of an actor, too. So
he is.
Was it Family Vacation? That shit's awesome.
Yeah. W stars. Cody, Roman, Gunther. I don't even think Gunther's not that stupid.
Gunther's not a star. Like, Gunther's a fine wrestler.
Gunther's not a star.
He's a fine wrestler.
Fatu's not a star.
Nope.
LA Knight's not a star.
Trick Williams is not a star.
Trick Williams isn't a star yet.
Yeah, he's trending upward.
Jacob's not a star yet because he's on Breakfast Club. He's on a lot of these iHeart big shows. There's again WWE stars. Those are WWE stars. Those aren't stars in mainstream, which is what the WWE is and is trying to get themselves to.
Yes. Like we can say that we like watching them on our television.
Again, go in the middle of your street and ask who the fuck these people are. They're going to tell you, I know Cody and Roman. Oh, I know Roman Reigns.
They might mistake him for Jason Momoa, but they know who he is.
Yes.
No one.
And then mixing Hollywood and wrestling. But that's been going on for years. Terry Funk was in Roadhouse back in
the Miz is a former Marine star.
There's a lot of wrestlers that have been part of that want Roddy Piper, they live. There's many wrestlers that wanted to get into and mix. They've been trying to mix Hollywood with wrestling since the 80s, maybe even before that.
Truth be told, a lot of these guys that we just named are not big as Diamond Dallas Page. DDP is a bigger star than most of these guys we just named.
I'm gonna be honest, Kev. Can you go back to Anthony's question real quick about the Mysterio?
Yes.
Rey Mysterio is probably the closest thing, in my opinion, as a wrestler who was a star without the Hollywood movies. One of them, because everybody knows who the fuck Rey Mysterio is, and you're not gonna and you know him why? Because he is a WWE wrestler. So you maybe not Dominic, but his father is absolutely a mainstream star, and he. I
got two more guys. I got two more names to add to that list, and the proof: the Hardy Boys.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. The Hardy Boys and Rey Mysterio, of course. Jeff
you
Hardy
went to the upfronts in AMC. You have Brooke Shields doing this.
Yeah, Hardy likes to have his meme that he was bigger than Obama in 2008. He was a pretty big star in 2008, and he was just wrestling. Like the Hardys and Rey Mysterio. Yes, I agree. Again,
they didn't have to do movies, and they really transcend that era of being superstars.
Right? Yeah, I agree. And they stood out the most. They stood out the most in wrestling from their eras, and they're mainstream. I mean, all these people, Rey Mysterio. You know how many rappers use Rey Mysterio in their rap lyrics?
Ric Flair.
Ric Flair's Ric Flair. Yeah, of course.
Ric Flair has got people singing songs.
It goes back to your era, Kev. Hulk Hogan being Rocky. We just saw the documentary. I mean, yeah, we could talk about this all day, but
yeah, we could. But I'm gonna wrap it up like this, guy. I know we got to move along. When it comes down to wrestling stars, we got to go back to a far gone era. We are usually seeing on average 2.3 million people watching Monday Night Raw, and we're seeing 600,000 people watching AEW Dynamite. That should prove your point right there. How many stars do we really have? Well, these are the A shows. We can't even we're struggling to get 3 million people to watch the A shows in 2026. This is where comparison is key. We go back to the Attitude Era, the Monday Night Wars. These people were fighting with Monday Night Football. I repeat, they were fighting with Monday Night Football. You had people that wanted to watch Stone Cold Steve Austin over Dan Marino. Just think about what I just said.
Yes.
Nobody is choosing Roman Reigns over Patrick Mahomes. No one. You got wrestling fans that are turning off. You're gonna see it. You're gonna see it in September. You're gonna have people turning off Monday Night Raw to go watch Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns on Monday Night Football. That's gonna be a real thing. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Cleveland Browns homer. I just use an example. So,
you don't think people are gonna want to watch him play?
Exactly. That's why. Yes, that's why I leave the stardom right there. We don't have that many stars here. If I can get someone to turn the TV off from the biggest sport in America to Monday Night Raw, that's when we got stars. That's when we got them.
I agree.
You're telling me there's hope for Geno Smith?
There is hope.
There is hope for Geno Smith, but it all depends on who the Jets are playing. If the Jets are playing like the Chiefs or maybe the Raiders, if people want to see Mendoza, then yeah, Geno Smith is going to be a draw.
Now, I don't know, Anthony. What's the explanation? I'm a little confused. I'm not trying to be smart ass or anything, because you know the difference between sports entertainment and pro wrestling star. We're just doing that right now. We're telling you these superstars that are sports entertainments, they're transcending into Hollywood, and we just gave you a list of pro wrestling stars. Mm-hmm. If you ask a pro wrestler for a pro wrestling star, they are going to tell you Sting. He is a pro wrestling star. He is not a sports entertainment superstar. He's not.
Yeah. No, again, what's the difference between a pro wrestling star and sports entertainment? It's easy. You ask wrestling fans know who these guys are. He's a wrestling star. If I go out to my local casino and I say, yo, does anybody know who Roman Reigns or whatever, you might get some people and you might not. But the point is, they're going to, and a lot of people, since we're, AEW has been brought up in this, my girlfriend, the only reason she knows about it, or only whatever, she saw Chris Jericho. Oh, I saw Chris Jericho on The Masked Singer. He was on The Masked Singer. I know Jericho. Yeah. So she didn't even know Jericho was. He's a wrestler. I was like, yeah, he's a wrestler. I was like, I thought he was a singer, which he is. She's not wrong, but these guys got other shit going on outside of wrestling that makes them mainstream. I don't know how else to put it. It is so simple. You go out, if your grandmother knows who Roman Reigns is because she's seen X, Y, and Z, he's mainstream. But just because we live in our own little fucking bubble as pro wrestling fans and we know who these people are, doesn't mean that they're stars. And you guys truly got to know the difference.
Yeah. On this comment right here, Haas, wrestling fan shows up to watch wrestling each week. Casual fan comes and goes. Stop trying to target the casual.
They need to get the casuals to stay and become the loyal fans.
Yes.
Thank you.
The casuals are the one that's repopulating the earth. We got to just tell the truth. We got to tell the truth. Like
wrestling fans aren't going to leave. We're not going to fucking stop. We're not going to stop watching this. You have to go get Jimmy that's a football fan and gravitate him towards wrestling.
Yes. Like, Aaron, you're a parent. Your child's more than likely going to like wrestling. A lot of people in the wrestling community are not going to have children. Many of them are not. The casual fans are the ones who are going to have children. They're going to be like, okay, we're going to bring wrestling into the world. The wrestling fan
goes back to professional wrestling. They're going to go out of business. Like AWA and the Crockett NWA, AWA, excuse me, UWF, even ECW.
Like wrestling is going the way of boxing. Boxing is dead pretty much now. That's the problem. So, do you want wrestling to die? I mean, you as a wrestling fan, you're a big wrestling fan. I respect your fandom, Aaron. Everybody don't see wrestling like you, man. And we want casual fans to come see it like you. That's the only way you're gonna keep.
You're gatekeeping. I'm gonna keep it a buck. You're gatekeeping the shit out of what you don't and don't like. I'm a big
yeah. I tend to agree a little bit too.
You're gatekeeping the shit, Aaron, out of what you don't and don't like. Wrestling fans aren't the only people allowed to watch wrestling. Stop that. I don't even want to go back and forth anymore with this.
Hey, listen, I don't want the casuals to come and make. I don't like the guy from the baseball writer that came in and said that shitted on professional wrestling. I'm a wrestling fan. Oh, what's up with these older men? That's something from your childhood. Bullshit. Go. You're covering a sport that little leagues play. Kids who are who's supposed to be from 7 to 14 playing, and you're covering it, and you made a Hall of Fame career, and you're watching grown men in their 30s and the 30s, the 20s to 30s playing baseball, a kid sports game, and you're covering, and you made a great living, and you probably want a poster, and you want it and stuff. So don't tell me it's for me to be as a wrestling fan not to enjoy it because you should grow out of it. But that's his prerogative.
Oh,
that's him.
I'm gonna go to this with Rick. I know we got to move on. I know he asked, "Do we see the NFL doing goofy stuff to attract people to football?" Yes, we do.
Oh my God! Here we go again, comparing the NFL to professional wrestling.
So,
God!
Man, if you look at the ads, they pander to everyone.
Everybody?
I mean, man, women, the different communities that may get us talked about. All of them, they pander to everybody. Yes, they do. Yes, they do goofy things. If you watch Thanksgiving, they got Dolly Parton up here doing concerts for Thanksgiving. Dolly Parton is almost 80 years old. What group of people is she bringing into football? You don't even know. Yes, they do goofy things. Yes, they do. Dude. We just had Bad Bunny perform. Some people that he's a good artist. Some people would consider him goofy. He was the same guy who was in Happy Gilmore too, doing goofy things to attract a different crowd to the NFL. Yes, the NFL does do goofy things to get you.
I think it's very weird that we're even comparing the NFL to professional wrestling right now. Stop.
All right, Chris. You know what about that other goofy things to attract? They have a whole Nickelodeon. They have a whole Nickelodeon channel with slime.
Thank you.
And they do a telecast for kids.
Yes. So if we really want to compare, which I think it's absolutely stupid, Kev is 100% right. And I cover the NFL. I love the NFL. The NFL raises my blood pressure more than this shit. All right. So stop comparing the Haas, because I know one of the first things you brought up when you started joining us, and I need you to keep emphasizing it. Not today, but every single show. This shit is not a sport. This isn't a league. There isn't teams. You're in it for yourself. This isn't even the UFC.
Yes. Right.
This past Christmas on Nickelodeon or on Disney, they had on an alternative. They had Mickey Mouse characters pretending to be Jalen Brunson and being the NBA basketball team game, passing the basketball, shoot. It's all about goofy. The professional sports are doing it. It leads me to my next sports. Thing. Yes, with the AI, complaining about the AI slop. What are they doing now in Major League Baseball when they're doing this to this? They're tapping their head. The automatic balls and strike system is AI powered. The first down marker on the football, they have to give you that, or the expedited replay, AI assisted. The coaches' challenges in the NBA, AI assisted. Yes. So come on, you got to evolve. I don't like it. Quick. You might not like it. I'm not asking you to like it, but you can't say it's slop and crap with the WWE when they're trying to be keeping up with the Joneses.
Yes, like the only
content creators use AI.
Yes, the only way that wrestling is going to compete with these sports, they have the ultimate trump card. It's predetermined, so I could do with whatever match, whatever segment. I can do whatever I want with it. So if we just focus on the graps, you are going to lose 20-30% of your fan base because they will get bored. I don't care if they are hardcore wrestling fans. There is a line where people will be like, I have seen all the suplexes. I have seen all the 450 splashes. I have seen all the suicide dives. You've seen it all. You only like it because you like the presentation of a certain wrestler that does it at a certain time. Like Kevin Knight did that flying clothesline Wednesday night. It was incredible. I've seen many men do it. He does it the best because he might be the most athletic to do it right now. But still, I have seen every wrestling move known to man. How many more times can you see that without levity in between your matches. We can see 5-star classics every day. No one's going to talk about it the next day because there's nothing great that came from it. No plot device, no story. We just saw a great wrestling match. You're going to have people fall off a cliff when they come watching this content. And you can't have that. You just can't.
Yeah, and we got to stop a little bit of the gatekeeping, because when you start attacking casuals or fans that watch it, you're going to deter them away and their behaviors. One thing you need popularity. Look at the Von Erichs. You guys want to get back to the Von Erichs when they're in the Texas territory. And they're doing a nice documentary. It's not the greatest, but they're doing a nice one on A&E. You see the amount of women that are screaming, going crazy for the wrestlers, for the Von Erich, handsome-looking young man. You got to, if we gatekeep, we're not going to get the female demographics to want to watch this product.
Mm-hmm.
And you need the female demographic, because if they like and they enjoy, whether it's women wrestling or women finding men attracted to want to buy their merch and stuff like a Ziggler and so forth like that, it's going to help bring in this. We have to stop gatekeeping and also attacking the female fan that wants to ask the question. Yes, they could. I know it's a double-edged sword, because Chris, you posted something from another content creator on the Rumble channel that he had a lot of merit to, where he said, you know what you're talking about, the guy from Rumba that said about the using of certain. It's a different topic, but I understand that. And my point is, you got to let the women come in and be part of the
I know what you're talking
community.
about. I know what you're talking about. My bad. Yeah. I know. I had to think it to a second. No, I hear what you're saying. I had to think to my head for a second. Well, yes. No, I agree. But look, at the end of the day, it is what it is.
No, people still talk about the 5-star collective matches. Yes, amongst the wrestling community. You don't see the first take. Let's talk about this 5-star match we saw over the weekend. No,
let's talk about Cena turning heel, because that is a moment. It's really that simple. We're gonna have to disagree to disagree. You're agree to disagree. Yeah, you're never gonna understand it. So we got to move on, because we got to move on. Something that we wanted to start soon. So
one thing that I wanted to give my opinion. Someone who revolutionized the world of professional wrestling sports entertainment from the 80s passed away in Ted Turner. I wasn't on Wednesday when you guys were on to give my thoughts. Listen, as a fan of WWE, part of the Monday Night Wars, the impact that Ted Turner did to the wrestling industry was a really good one. Because without Ted Turner's vision, thought, or love for professional wrestling, we would not have weekly live wrestling shows. Because Monday Night Raw was taped. They used to go tape. They used to do the old TNA route that they're doing currently now in 2026. Once a month taped after a PLE or pay-per-view at that time, and the rest was taped. Ted Turner had the goals, the balls, the smarts, the vision to make it go live each and every week for 3 hours. They forced the WWE's hand to make a change, to elevate. That's why those that say that AEW is terrible should go away. It breeds competition. It made Ted Turner made the WWE go live. All Elite Wrestling might make the WWE get better creative. That's why competition is always good, regardless of the fact. And Ted Turner bought that. He elevated, and that's just him not putting maybe 25% of his resources or his actual time, money, all that to the wrestling, because he did run a multi-million-dollar company in CNN and all his accolades. Great job, phenomenal job for Ted Turner, pioneer. Mergers. This is, again, I know why you need things to grow, but when you go publicly traded, those are the downfalls. When you go publicly traded in stock, you have to grow, you have to make money. Yes, I get it. We saw it with the AOL Time Warner merger. It killed WCW. We're seeing that a little bit here with the WWE going publicly traded, where the stockholders and so forth, Vince McMahon out, TKO in. We're seeing the ramifications of dislike. It's happened. It has happened to my beloved Yankees. Even though Hal Steinbrenner is still a majority owner of the New York Yankees, but they are a bunch of stockholders. They're not really going after the top markets. because they have to bring a profit to the board members because they have to invest money, and it's killing a little bit of the Yankees. So when you go publicly traded, there's pros and cons, and I think we're leaving that with the WWE. But all in all, rest in peace for Ted Turner, such an innovator in that time and helping elevate not just his brand, but the whole wrestling brand in general.
Yeah, well said. I said it on Wednesday. There would be no alternative wrestling on major TV without Ted Turner. But not even just the wrestling. Like Ted Turner founded Cartoon Network, and I was a big Ben 10 fan as a kid. I mean, if I wasn't watching wrestling, you know, I had a little rough of a childhood, so Ben 10, that was really my thing. So Ted Turner gave me Ben 10. So shout out to Ted Turner.
Ben 10, Hanna-Barbera. I mean, the
Dexter's Laboratory. I mean, yeah.
We can have a big conversation about Ted Turner and just the United States in general, because Ted Turner, he was in the influence business. Yeah. That's what he was in. That was a very powerful man, way bigger than wrestling. And he had his hands in a lot of things, whether good or bad, however you feel about it. But when we just bring it to wrestling, he was a very instrumental part of it. So shout out to him, because he really wanted his stamp on entertainment. He wanted his stamp on everything in America, and he left a big mark on that.
Yeah. See, look what CNN is now. You know, whether you like him or not, it's the biggest, 24/7 news site, and he built that. So
Larry King on his network. Larry King made a living on his net. Exactly. So it goes beyond the wrestling with Ted Turner. So
because he was competing with all the, what's the best word? I don't like to use the word oligarchs, but that is appropriate.
Yeah,
he was up here competing with every other billionaire in our space. They're like, okay, who's going to have the influence in the South, in the North, in the West, in the East? Who they talking about? And a lot of people talking about Ted Turner. So that's where we are with that.
One of the few that actually lived up to his name, lived up to the name. He created TBS into a superstation, because you would watch Major League Baseball leading into professional wrestling at 6:05 or vice versa. You know, I loved it. If you had the cable, that was a very popular channel. I believe you had the Andy Griffin show at time from here and there whenever they off the air, and you had some good programming there. It was great job there for Ted Turner. One thing when I came down to the South, this is talking about 84, 85, when I would come to Florida before I lived in New York for Disney trip, and we would go and we would stop, and we were in a hotel when you drive, because we used to take in the Carolinas. Honest, I would leave the freaking pool to go 6:05, because my uncle that got me into wrestling's on. I would run to the hotel to watch wrestling at 6:05 on Saturdays. Great job, to put that there. The Classic Champions, where you might not have gotten the pay-per-view model at the time, but those Classic Champions from Turner Sports, from WCW at that time, were great. There's some great memorable stuff that they did with Ted Turner. I'm going for. Was it the perfect thing? No, there was some goofy stuff. There was a lot of stuff. The RoboCop, so many different things, but it was still entertainment. It was something different. It was, like you said, an alternative Chris, where he had a vision, and that's how it went. And that was something impactful for all like Samurai Jack. That's another cartoon. Dexter Laboratory, Evil con Carne. Remember that there with there was some great stuff.
Yeah,
great stuff
yeah,
there.
dude. He did his thing, man. I wasn't around during the WCW era, but knowing a lot of his history with wrestling, we wouldn't have no major alternative on wrestling. Vince had his business. Ted Turner gave something different. So, and I know a lot of people back then that lived it, enjoyed the hell out of it, whether it was perfect or not. So, yeah, shout out to Ted Turner, man.
Yeah, I believe Ted Turner viewed wrestling like back in the day when the Roman leaders used to like to watch lion fighting and gladiators. I think that's how he viewed wrestling. So that's why it got so big under him.
Absolutely there. And what leads me here now, let's get into a little bit that's trying to reinvent himself, re-kicking his NXT. And the only reason I bought NXT, because I did a review. You can check my review out, and I break down all the NXT back and forth. But I want to talk about Mason Rook, the online view. Don't judge a book by its cover. Let's watch the kid work before we the presentation, the viewing, it might not be the greatest, but let's hold off our reserve while we the cover of the book, Haas.
When it comes to Mason Rook, I'm going to be one of the detractors. I'm not saying he's a fine wrestler. Yeah, he knows a lot of moves. He can wrestle. I will give him that. But my argument is, how many people cannot wrestle these days? We've gotten to a point where most of these people that they hire can execute moves. I point to like 5 to 7 of them correctly. And that's a fine wrestler. When it comes to wrestling, I come from an era where you would watch people and be like, okay, I want to look like them. I strive to be them. Mason Rook is not anyone I strive to look as. That's just me, point blank, period. That's not saying that he can't wrestle. That I have to put that caveat out there. People, when I talk like that, people are like, oh man, we're talking about how he can do a moonsault. A big man can do a moonsault. That's fine. I've seen many big men do moonsaults. Fine. But that's just me. That's how I view wrestling. When I look at these big, powerful men, they're the one that help me go to the gym every other day. I'm like, okay, I look at Roman Reigns and be like, yeah, I want to get biceps like that. There's nothing that Mason Rook does that says, hey, I want to be like him. I just leave it at that.
Yeah, I see what you mean when it comes to Mason Rook. Chris, I call them looks like Barf from Space.
I saw that. Look, he definitely doesn't have an appeal to an interesting appearance, I would say. But this is just one thing I've learned over rewatching, getting back into NXT last year, is I don't expect much from a lot of these people that I'm seeing from the first time. The buzz is there for this guy. I want to see how it works. I wonder if he's one of those if he's going to be just like a psycho, like one of these psycho guys that come in and just, that's like his thing. I would kind of be for it. I think that would fit him. I want to see how he looks in the next few weeks. Who did he attack? Tony D'Angelo on Tuesday.
He's making himself name in the main event picture, which they have a lot of main event players now.
I know, right? So if he's getting himself in there with Tony D'Angelo, Cena made a kind of a little endorsement from him. So I want to see what the kid's about, and I think again, rewatching NXT, getting back into it last year, I learned that the reason why for me, and I think a little bit for you too, is like, I want to see what they can do from nothing and see what they can. And at the end of the day, it is developmental. I'm not going to, like, NXT is not one of those shows where I'm like, why are they not, like, their timing and some things we could argue because, for weeks now they've been doing this and all of a sudden, but in the first reaction, in the blink of an eye, again, his appearances, you could laugh and question it, but I genuinely want to see what the dude's about. I do, because again, if he's going to be one of these guys he's going to be like a psycho, like a Sami Callihan. That's the first person I thought of when I saw this guy, was Sami Callihan.
Great comparison.
So yeah, I'm interested in seeing what he brings to the table. I really do. And again, his appearance, we can make fun of it, which rightfully so. But again, I want to see what he brings to the table. And if he's going to be like that crazy unhinged guy, Kev, he reminds me of a Sami Callihan.
If he has that and something that Haas is mentioning, character. I'm going to be very honest. I'm going to say this. I said it a little bit. I said it last stream. I'm going to say it again. Guy that's working me over, wasn't my cup of coffee. Still might not be my cup of coffee, but he's working me where I'm liking. I want to see, maybe I'm intriguing more. Shiloh Hill. Chris, how much I disliked the kid.
What? Really?
His character work. Doesn't mean that I'm going to go buy his merch.
Is it the Tatum Paxley effect?
Yes, he is working well, and they're becoming entertaining. Where I couldn't stand the kid. Now the kid is tolerable and entertaining, in my point. And you know what? And that's good. That's what means the kid is developing and evolving. I can see that with Mason Rook.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I said, if he's going to be one of these guys that comes out unhinged, like when I look at his picture right now and he has those taped wrists and his size, dude, he reminds me of like a younger, heavier version of Sami Callihan.
Beautiful. That was beautiful. Spot on. Beautiful. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I love it. I love it. I really love it for Mason Rook, what is going on. And I liked it because, let's face it, Tony as the world champion, I'm not really feeling it but he's getting a lot of competitors coming from the woodworks. He's getting this, Travion Heights. I'm glad they're giving him the opportunity. You're seeing out different people coming at from him. Mason Rook, you're seeing that so many different angles. And it's not, you know why I like it? Even though Tony may not be the guy, it's unpredictable. Yeah. It's unpredictable. You're like, oh, they're grooming this one. They're grooming this one. We know Tony's not going to hold it until this. Because right now, I don't know who the hell is going to be Tony D'Angelo. It's unpredictable. No, and there's so many coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, it seems like they're trying to, build up a few guys, even there, with Keanu Carver and Sean Legacy. Again, like you mentioned with Shiloh. Again, they're right now with all of them, and again, you guys have been killing it on the review shows every week. They're still in kind of their rebuild. I mean, they go through this once a year when a lot of their big guys go up, big guys and girls go to the main roster. They keep a few down, so they still have strong people there, and then once they build the people back up, they go up, vice versa. So I think that's what they're at right now, especially and I think the women's division is still cool. With Lola and Tatum there. Again, they're just going to find Kendall Gray and maybe one or two other people to go, and then Lola will probably go, and then Kendall take. So they're in the to me, I look at it as they're still kind of in their rebranding mode and with talent, but they got some promising people there that they could do good few programs with.
Could we say it's like an ecosystem? It's an ecosystem.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is. That's essentially what NXT, is. So, they're playing it well. They're doing it well. Again, I know we talked about this last year where you could maybe question, okay, bringing a lot of, maybe not so right now, because I think it's worked out. It's working out. But I remember last year we had this conversation, Kev, on Saturdays where it was like, if you're going to bring all these people up at once, that's fine. But don't bring them up with nothing to do, because they could still be doing stuff in NXT, upgrading their stock, helping that show be good. And when you find something for them, have them drop whatever they're doing to come up. And I think they got a little bit better at that with them moving a lot of people up. But Kev, I know that was something that we were really big on last year.
Yes, especially when the old 2023, most of them are gone.
When there was that Blair Davenport release that we really
that
talking about.
The guy that was a bad one.
Yeah,
that was a bad one. Haas, I wanted to get you. Go ahead, Haas. No, go ahead. I got a two-parter after that.
Okay. We're gonna get to a point where how the fans are getting so mad at the business aspect of wrestling. They're gonna start turning their back on the PC very soon, because the PC is gonna lead to some of their favorites getting released, and that's gonna go back to the booking that we were talking about earlier, because they're gonna start. They want the cheap labor. That's why no one's getting over. When they're going to call you up and people are going to get released. They're going to be, they're the NXT class from 2021 is getting released because it's 2026 and they couldn't get over. So people are going to start turning their back on the PC and LFG and Evolve, and by no fault of their own. The business model, people are becoming more cognizant of it. And we can love all the NIL people that are coming. They're breeding them for a reason. Like, okay, you don't get over in 3 months, we'll replace you. Don't worry about it. Like, you better get over. You better. We're not going to help you get over. You better just find a way. We're going to help you look the part, but you better find a way. So that's a lot of fans are going to turn on that, and that's going to be very ugly when that day comes. It's going to be fairly soon.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you, Haas, speaking of that, the Jada Parker situation. Mm-hmm. We've seen Kaylee Armstrong being elevated from Evolve. We could see she's going to be a superstar. There's a lot of her future is so hugely bright for Kylie Armstrong. But for Jada losing it and then seeing her going unhinged in the locker room, do you think, because we saw that Tyler Neidhart kind of say, what happened to you? Kind of look like there's going to be a program for Jada and Natty. Do you think this is going to help Jada? Because I think Jada's in the part where it's a crossroads, sink or swim to get elevated. Because I don't know, she's one of them that's kind of held back a little bit, and not for her own doing, but there's something that they're looking to pull out of her that they haven't pulled out yet.
With Jada Parker, she's suffering for not being called up. That's the biggest thing. Like, she should have got called up with the rest of the ladies, and people can argue about that with me in the IWC, but she's hung around so long. She's a veteran now. She has to get the other ladies up to her level, and by doing that, it's going to make her look like that she's doing the job for so many of them. But she has to pay it forward now. People paid it for her. And the way fans are digesting wrestling these days, they're going to be like, oh, is she getting buried? Or is she doing what she's supposed to be doing for the PC? And a lot of people don't see it the second way I just said it. So she's gonna be fed to Callie Armstrong. That's already happened. She's gonna get fed to Kendall Gray. Gonna get fed to Ren Sinclair. All the women that they want to prop up for the next crop of NXT stars. That's where we are. Like, Kaylani's gonna probably be in that same position because she should have got called up as well. She's gonna eventually start losing. Same thing with Lola Vice. Like, if Lola doesn't get called up after she loses the title, whenever that happens, we're going to have the same conversation about her. So that it's all about timing now. And the thing about that's why the releases must happen so the ones that we watch here at NXT can move up. That's the sad point when it comes to business. You can't have creation without destruction. That if Dragon Ball didn't teach you that, I don't know what else can teach you that. Some people must be released for people to come up. And that's the sad state of affairs, but we just have to accept it. But with Jada Parker, yes, she should have got called up. And that's going to, people on NXT, that people who know this business, they're going to understand what's going on with her. But many other wrestling fans don't see it that way. And it's kind of sad.
Yeah, we'll find out where that goes because I think her and Natty Neidhart with the Loki Legend, if whatever program they do, I'm looking forward to see if that's going to help, with Jada, maybe some more, because she's been improving in her wrestling matches. Her matches, she's got a finisher, because I mentioned this again. People complain about the Kaylee Armstrong shoulder tackle for a finisher. That could knock anyone's wind out. You could get that shoulder in your solar plex, in your chin, anywhere can knock you out. But Jada Parker's hip or her cushiony fat ass is not really going to knock anyone out.
Mm-mm. When it comes to that move for her, you know where she got that from. She got it from who she's dealing with. That's right. How it gets over. So that's going to benefit her in the long run with that because she's using her sex appeal in her wrestling. With Callie Armstrong, people got to get past the move. Get past it. Look how she looks. It's how she looks. Look how strong she looks delivering that move. She hits you dead in the chest with that. Somebody could die. Just really. Yeah, you could really
warrior type of shoulder tackle when her explosion. She has not only that, she's more than she's got a hell of a spine buster and a power slam.
Yes. I'm just gonna focus on the finisher for now. Just think about someone of Kendall Gray's size, normal woman, getting hit with that. You're done for weeks. You can't go to work the next day for sure. That's real. That's a realistic finisher. We didn't got to pick up a big gorilla press and all this type of stuff. That's fine, but we had to keep it to women. That's a strong move. It is. Like, you may not like the presentation of it, but you have to think about, like, you can go get hit in your chest like that one good time. You're finished.
Yes. She might be there, and we'll see where that goes. Right now, at least for me, this revamp of NXT current right now, I'm enjoying it again. This is around the time of year I say I got back, 2022, 2023, got back into the 2.0 era, got back into wrestling. That I always go say that's when I started getting into the NXT, and I just went, well, and I liked it because I grew and watched these wrestlers grow up in front of me now where they're at, So this is where there is a fun madness to watching this current NXT version, because that a lot of these people, they're going to invest a lot. Let's say 60% of these people there are going to go to the main roster and possibly be a main eventer or mid-carder. So you're investing in their career, watching them make those mistakes and elevate. Sometimes they get a little nervous, like a Soruka slipping on her ropes, but that didn't really kill the point of her. You know what I liked about Soruka's appearance against Becky Lynch on Monday Night Raw? Was the way she talked and said, you know what, I'm going to snatch your snow if you don't get out of my face. I loved it. She slipped. Okay, that's fine. One slip. But she didn't fall. She just slipped, and she still nailed her soul snatcher. So I don't know. I'm enjoying it. We'll see where NXT goes on, where some of these kids go up forward. I want to talk about two more things before we get into the Backlash, because we're going to go rapid fire a little quickly here. Chris Ying Lee, two-time TNA Knockouts champion. I got to say this first before I give you the floor. Thank you that you guys were too busy arguing amongst yourselves about Brandon Thurston's or Nick DiPiccolo's tweet, and you were talking about all the drama that happens in the IWC that none of you folks, and I think .net was having an issue with people resigning and all that stuff. Nobody wanted to go out there and post any spoilers that Ying Lee won the title in Syracuse. Thank you for not spoiling it, because I really enjoyed it. I did not know it until that happened. Mm-hmm. So, Chris, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, first off. And we don't really see TNA. I mean, it was just that one day when you were there in Florida. It was that,
Yeah, thanks. I don't want to come back to Full Sail because of that.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, I know. Ying Lee becoming the two-time TNA Knockouts champion. Listen, I mean, they don't really, again, we talk about this. I still feel the same way. First off, it's a good win. I like Ying Lee. I know we talk about her a lot, but she's good. She is the only legit person on that Knockouts division right now. We know who it should be, but I digress. So put it back on Ying Lee. I think that's the best thing you can do for your Knockouts division. I'm curious again to see what they're gonna do. I think they're having the TNA title on her so she could have her feud with Zaya Brookside. I don't really know, Kev or Haas, what other feuds or big matches with the title that Ying Lee, other than Tessa, right? At the very moment. So I think they're going to extend the program a little bit with her and Zaya, maybe until they figure something out. But I like it. I think Ariana Grace did what she was supposed to do for the TNA title, or Knockouts title, excuse me. Haas said it on Thursday. They have to push Ariana Grace a little bit on NXT, just like they kind of did with like the Kalani and the JC Janes. I thought Stax played a fine role in this as well. So they played their parts, Ariana, with the Santino stuff. So I didn't mind her being champion. I know a lot of people didn't like it. I didn't mind it because they had nothing else to fall back on that made sense. And now they do with the Zaya stuff. So, okay. I'm cool with it.
Yeah. Us.
When it comes down to Ying Lee, that's kind of hard to say at one at a time, but they're gonna move her along so we can get the Mean Girls going in the Knockouts, because it seems like there's a lot of heels in our Knockouts division for TNA, and I think they're gonna feed into the Mean Girl dynamic, because she's probably the true babyface. Her and Indy Hartwell might be the only true baby faces in the Knockouts. I mean, maybe Mara Sade, but she gives me more tweener to heelish vibes than anything. So they're gonna really buy into this Mean Girl dynamic, and we're gonna have a lot of heel on heel action, unless they bring on some from NXT, like we had Ariana Grace, who's a heel. So they might bring in some faces, just for some reps. But I see her. She's transitional. I don't see Zaya Brookside taking the title off of her. I don't see that one. I see Zaya probably losing this beef, and we're gonna probably have maybe either Ash or Elena Black to beat Ying Lee for their belt. It's going to be one of those two. But it's progress in the Knockouts, though. Progress is happening.
As long as they add plus tax to it. We saw in the last pay-per-view, last PLE, Ying Lee versus Zaya, and that was very underwhelming. I hope they pick up the pace because now they're gonna. Again, the knockout title was there. Their first match was a little underwhelming, underperforming. I don't know what. I didn't really enjoy it, guys. Mm-hmm. I hope that they knock it out, which is probably going to be this Thursday. They're going to be live. TNA from Sacramento will be live this Thursday. I want to see how that match goes. What happens? Like you said, there's a lot of heels, female knockout heels. With Cora Jade, aka Elena Black, where she goes. I don't think she's ready for world title. I don't think she's ready to be a world champion, but who knows when they're booking. I don't want to see Ash with the world title either. I think I'm just not enjoying her character work. Mm-hmm. I enjoy the other ladies, but her, I'm not enjoying her character work. I'm sorry. She's not hitting the spot. No disrespect to Ash. You're great, when you were, but now this version of you is not hitting for me. I don't know. Rosemary. I am enjoying what Rosemary was doing with the Undell Rome, with Ali. I who knows? I think this is a one-off with Zaya Brookside. I could see Zaya eventually team, like you said, House, your idea, teaming up part of the Birthright and Adriana Grace. They could probably go for TNA Knockout Gold. Wouldn't mind that. For them going forward. We'll see. One thing I wanted to talk about, there's going to be a battle royal for number one contenders for Mike Santana's title. Mike Santana trademarked his name. I don't take that for whatever you think is going to happen, but I guess that's just for merchandise and licensing for Mike to make extra money. Maybe that's something that TNA, the Anthem Sports said, trademark your name. You make, it's like
it's
we can't give you more money
anywhere. Anything you do, it's a good business decision to trademark your name.
Yes, it is a great business decision, especially for him. I hope that Zoe Starks, Tommy Dreamer says, it's a priority to see her. I would like Zoe Starks, but for Zoe, it's not the talent, it's not the in-ring, it's the health. She's got to stay healthy. She has had major injuries plus NXT as well. And on the main roster, that gruesome injury for her has always been about staying healthy for Zoe. In-ring, she could knock it out of the park. I don't know, but she's going to have to talk on the mic and get you going talking-wise. Not the strength for Zoe neither. So, but amongst the TNA knockouts, maybe that's something that will benefit for her. I don't know. Only time will tell. I'm excited to see the 2 out of 3 falls coming up for the X Division champion, Leon Slater and Cedric. I'm going to be honest with you. They made 2 out of 3. They're making a big thing. I'm afraid that there could be an opportunity where Leon might get screwed. And you got to make the system strong, Chris.
I could see it. Leon takes Cedric takes the first one. Leon takes the first one. Cedric takes the second one. And I think some way, somehow, we expect Leon to take that last pin. The system, Brian Myers or Bear Bronson, whatever. Leon's gonna go hit his move. One distracts the referee, one does it. It's that simple. The way they could do it.
I agree. I agree. My whole thing with Leon Slater is I think it's time for him to lose that belt. I like it. You got to move him up for to the TNA World Championship. It's got to happen. Especially
if he's rumored to leaving the company at the end of the year for a new contract with the WWE. You got to see what you got.
Right, because again, his ascension goes hand to hand with if Mike Santana leaves or not. Because if Mike Santana leaves to go to NXT, or he might get called up to the main roster immediately. Who knows? That could happen. If he moves on, Leon Slater needs to be that next babyface that moves on into that big world championship picture, because you're going to either have someone from the system have that belt, or you're going to probably have Nick Nemeth call his shot and have that belt. And he's a heel as well. So Leon got to be that next uber babyface that gets TNA over. So he's done a great job with the X Division belt. It's time to move on, because before you know it, he's going to leave too, and you're going to be left with a lot of people that got to pick up the remains of what's going on with the division.
Yeah, and it's a battle royal. They could book anyone to win it. Battle royal, you don't have to be the best to pin. You just got to survive. Mm-hmm. Remember that. And I know you mentioned. I know I saw Steve Macklin's name around there calling winning battle royal. There's no close. Steve Macklin, you could easily put him into the world picture without winning a battle royal. A battle royal is somebody they want to take a chance to a filler for a PLE. Like you, and I like what you said. EC3. Like if you see EC3 winning a battle royal, okay, we know he's not going to win, but you kind of made him a number one contender to go up against Mike Santana. Okay, I can see that. Even you know what, I would like to see in this battle royal. I hope we see him in the battle royal, and I hope he has a good battle royal, but don't win. Ricky Sosa. Would love to see Ricky Sosa have a strong battle royal appearance, even though he's not going to win. But even though he gets thrown out, like maybe the third person left in the battle royal, but he gave us a hell of a shot. Well, heck, I wouldn't even mind AJ Francis, the birthday boy. But happy belated birthday to AJ Francis. He's on a Carnival cruise right now, making money. So, he could come back and he could probably win the battle royal. Because didn't Santana already destroy him last year? Well, if he wins the battle royal, he gets an opportunity to go up against Mike Santana if he holds the title. So I like where they're going. I like where they're plant their seeds, where they're going with it, and we'll see what we'll be here. We'll be covering it when they go live. We'll be ready to go. I'm ready. I'm excited for TNA always, and we'll keep an eye on that. Final topic before we get into Backlash. So I know we're not gonna do too much All Elite Wrestling. We'll talk some AEW. You guys did a good job on Wednesday nights. They do their recap review. Haas and PGA's Chris on Wednesday nights immediately after Dynamite. They had their 3-hour show with a little collision. Hair versus opportunity for the world title. It's something different. They're trying to try the stipulation that nobody stooged off. No one had it. Everybody was thought it's different. I got to give them credit. They try to throw something in a dart. Not everything sticks. They tried something, Chris. I'm not going to knock it.
No, I mean, I'm not either. MJF just got his hair implant or whatever, so obviously it's something important to him. Yeah, I agree. Nothing really came out of it. That out of the show, the 3-hour special, in my opinion. Darby's continuing to have his matches as AEW champion leading up until Double or Nothing, and we talk a lot about Darby's reign. I'm not going to get too much into that right now, but I think him and MJF should be a good match. I just hope starting this Wednesday or something like we gotta get those two, really have those two only be the center of attention during that title scene right now, instead of Darby going against Pac on tonight. Let's start getting that ready for Double or Nothing and focus on just those two with no outside distractions, meaning Darby no having matches with anybody else, MJF stop challenging for other belts, focus these two going up to Double or Nothing. That's all I hope to see. But I mean, yeah, the match against him and Kevin was fine, but I thought Wednesday was boring, and not in a bad way, not in a negative way. It was just there's nothing there.
I know they got that Fairway of Hell. Would have been, but I know they won't do it because of the gingerbread sense of humor. People don't have it. If MJF comes out as a caddy for a Pac,
it'd be appropriate. He wasn't Happy Gilmore too. He's on golf. It would be very appropriate.
There's no sense of humor in wrestling fans.
I mean, play into it. I mean, honestly, it's only an hour. Play into it. If he comes out there dressed like a fly caddy, it's cool. I have no problem with that. He can just drive out there on the golf cart, say, I'm finna kick your ass, all that type of stuff.
Run Darby over with the golf cart.
Why not? Play into it. Let's have some fun. That's it. I mean, I love Goofy Wrestling. I will never go against Goofy Wrestling. Shout out to Simon Miller, Goofy Wrestling for life. I'm for all of that. So yes, give me a caddy, run somebody over in the golf cart safely. Let's be safe out here. That's not because John Elway had a problem with golf carts. That's neither here nor there. So let's be safe out here with them. If y'all know that story, if you know, you know. So yeah, let's be safe with golf carts. But yeah, play into the fairway to hell. I'm dunk somebody into the hole in one. I don't care. Let's have some fun. Hit somebody with a golf club. Get the driver out, the 9-iron. Let's have some fun.
It's already a goofy show going into it. A wrestling show in a fairway.
You're telling me you telling me Jungle Jack Perry shouldn't hit Mark Davis with a golf bag? Come on, man.
Mark Davis looked like the caddy from Caddyshack 1.
He's huge. Hit him with a golf bag. Hit him with the bag. I mean, Luchasaurus can come drive on the golf cart for all I care. Dinosaurs in the golf cart, I'm cool with it. So yeah, let's have some fun with it. But yeah, back to Wednesday. My only thing about Wednesday, like I say every week, fine wrestling. Here's where I dunk on it. Stop putting so many jobbers on the show. Stop giving me all these predictable matches. No one in this lifetime thought Bad Apple Brian Keith was going to beat Kazuchika Okada. No one. Why is that match on the card? Why? That's what I'm talking about. If we're going to have fine wrestling, give me guys with similar power levels. Like, okay, we could further along stories in these respective title brackets. Like you telling me, oh man, we got 4 title defenses on Wednesday. I already know who's going to win. That's no fun. That's not fun.
Can I rebuttal a little bit on that though?
Go ahead.
I can understand a little bit because if you put the best of the best to wrestle every Wednesday, in 4 months you're gonna get repeat match, and then you're expecting people to pay $39.99 to see repeat matches that you saw for free on Wednesday nights. That's a slippery slope. That's why this is where the state of promos, comedy segments, different things work, because you don't want to give them everything on a Wednesday in 4 weeks, and then you expect us to pay $50 or $39.99, whatever, from that range, anywhere from $29.99 to $49.99 for the matches that you saw already. Why? Because they're going to go 20 minutes.
No, what I'm saying is, like, get some guys who are not on TV. Like, we got the bloated roster. Like, I need to see some newer people. Like, we already had as many stars on Wednesday night. There was no Swerve. Well, I mean, we saw Swerve in a vignette, but there was no Omega, no Hangman. That we talked about wrestling stars earlier. They weren't on the show Wednesday. That hurts. This is a 3-hour show. That hurts your show when you don't have your signature names. So yeah, call up the. Well, I hate to use the term call up. You're not calling nobody up from AEW. They're already there. They're just not wrestling. Yeah, let's get guys that needs to be wrestling. They need some TV time to push them along. Like Roosh up here fighting Manny Lowe. For what? We got again. I say it. I'm like a broken record. Yeah,
he wanted the horns. He was feeling horny.
We need men. We need men and women that need to get on television. That's all. And we up here got Manny Lowe. That check probably helped him pay rent. So I know shout out to him. Shout out to Tony Khan for paying him to come get beat in 20 seconds. I paid my rent this week. Cool.
I mean, Willie Mack could use that pay. He really could.
Yeah.
He's falling on some hard times.
He really could. I mean, where was Andrade? Where was Andrade Wednesday? I mean,
he was winning the global force world champion.
Whatever that means.
IWC global champion.
Whatever that means, Kevin. Whatever that means.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck.
He's mainly contracted by AEW. If you want to help out New Japan, do that on your own time, bub. We need you on Wednesday nights for 3-hour shows. Yeah. Well, we prioritize matches here. We need the guys who gives the best matches out on television. I'm just less jobbers on my TV. If you're going to prioritize matches, if you're going to have jobbers going against jobbers then. Don't have them going against Kazuchika Okada. When I already know Okada ain't losing till Double or Nothing. And he may not lose there. Look, we got Okada and Darby next week.
There you go. You guys got something to sink your teeth into.
Okada's going to lose.
Okada's going to lose when he shouldn't be losing.
He's going to lose.
When he shouldn't be losing. So...
yeah, the biggest swerve you can do is have Okada hit Darby with 2 or 3 rainmakers and we call it a night. That would be a great swerve, even though Okada is boring in his own right, but the storyline would be good. He goes into Double or Nothing, double champ, and Takeshi don't know which belt he's going to take. That's a storyline.
Bitches.
Yeah.
That's always going to go, bitches.
You call that a plus tax segment.
And with Darby Allin, the biggest thing with Darby is they keep trying to say, man, he's gonna wrestle till he can't anymore, until the wheels fall off, until he's exhausted. That's not a story. That's an open challenge that you're trying to glaze. That's all that is. Stop trying to sell me on that. That's not a story. You know what? Because guess what? I go to work every day until I give out. Hell, I may not give out to 30 years from now. Is that an interesting story? No, I pay my bills though. It's not interesting. It's not. So stop trying to give me Darby Allin interesting stories. It's not a story. He's just wrestling every day until Tony Khan just says, okay, that's it, bub. That's it. Pass the buck.
Yeah.
That's where we're going. So stop trying to make Darby Allin more than what he is. I respect him as a man, as a real life man. This man climbed a fucking mountain. I respect him. But you can't. This is the problem we get when we give guys OP booking and they run into people that look more menacing than them. That's the problem we get. Same thing. Cody Rhodes runs into the same problem. It's just like we can only OP book you enough until you run into Obafemi. And like, bro, we can't book you like this. You don't look like that. Same thing with Darby Allin against him and MJF. They're similar size sets, but Darby Allin versus what's a big guy? Wardlow. Even though Wardlow in kayfabe, you never see him. But can we really book Darby Allin to beat Wardlow the way he looks? No, it looks It's goofy. It's goofy. So that's my only problem with that. But Wednesdays could improve. It only takes a few tweaks. Because I said a few weeks ago, a good year of Dynamite being booked can surpass SmackDown. It can happen. I still believe it. Does Tony Khan believe it is the question. I don't think he does.
I don't know. You have a better chance of believing in the Gingerbread Man. But we're going to get into Backlash, but we're going to hear first from our sponsor because summer's over here.
Summer is upon us real soon. When the temps start to climb, cool down your undercarriage with a poopsicle. Dude Wipes team created the world's first ice pop scented butt wipes. Every dude deserves a little treat after dropping a dookie. Poopsicle Wipes. Get your butt over to the TP aisle or snag a pack online. Here, your promo code. Text DUDESAVE20 to 59463. Get 20% off. Dude Wipe, sponsor of the Sports Jedi Network channel. Feel the force. Stay Dude Wipe clean.
This is the one and only Paige, and you're watching Sports Jedi Network. Feel the force.
Hey, Kevin.
All right, go ahead, Haas.
Before you move on, we got to talk about controversial segments. Which one was more panned? Mina and Harley Cannons or the funeral of the Gingerbread Man?
Ooh, interesting enough. They were both hot topics and both got a lot of negativity from the IWC. You know what the common denominator in both of them? When I see both, I want a glass of milk.
Ha! 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 Good one, sir. Good on you, sir. Because Harley Cannon, she came out and said something about it. And I loved her statement. She says, if you really pay attention to me wrestle, I'm usually wrestling in a bra anyway. She said this. Not me, but she said it. If Harley Cameron is really going up there, she's becoming one of my favorite wrestlers now. Because she kept it real. She kept it all the way real. She could have gave a PC feminist answer, whatever you see it. No, she kept it truthful. Hey, I wrestle half naked. So if you see me tearing my shirt off and you see my bra and you're offended, that's a you problem.
Woman with cannons in her bra and knows how to use her hands with a puppet.
Mm-hmm.
Sign me up.
Yeah, I don't see the issue.
No, she can play with my puppet.
I don't see
Shout
the
out
problem.
to Harley Cannons.
Shout out to Harley Cannon.
A big fan of the Hoss is a big fan. Big fan.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So there you go. Good one there. Let's talk about tonight here. In a couple of hours away, we got the card. Only 5 matches. Some people were complaining that it might be only 3. $30. Which is the most asinine, stupid thing. Because unless if you're just a wrestling fan, yeah, you're paying $10 per match. But if you're a sports fan, you're gonna get everything from the ESPN Plus app. But then we're not talking about that. Let's talk about this card here. I want to talk about the one that everybody is speculating, where Danhausen has a mystery partner. I've got a theory, an idea. I don't think who could it be? Do you want to hear me first? Or you want me to go last?
I just think it's going to be Jelly Roll.
Jelly Roll. Hops.
I got Punk. I buy it to the hype. Punk house.
I was getting into Punk. I think we're going to get some because we saw last night Gingerbread Man being pulled by Danhausen. The costume reviving. Wouldn't be surprised. And this is where I said, man, it wouldn't make sense. But they fucking released him. They could have had Eric the Red come out as his dangerous Gingerbread Man character, play into it more. I think Sheamus. Wouldn't be surprised if Sheamus be his partner. Returning Sheamus, he doesn't have to be the Gingerbread Man, but he's a fellow ginger to team up.
The only reason I buy into Punkhausen is because they're going to have the first hour on ESPN2. They got to have some star on there. So they got to get the returns. If you bring Punk out to be that, you hear cultural personality in Tampa.
Fair.
They're gonna have people. Okay, maybe I want to buy the rest of the show. So that's the only way I see it like that.
That's right, man. If Eric the Red, if they didn't think this through, have him dressed up like some type of Frankenstein, gingerbread makeup, whatever. Just even if it's a fucking one-off, it's already a goofy match already. You got you got a man in pearl necklace with a pearl necklace around his neck coming out. Talking about toxic masculinity. You have the Miz that everybody wants that go away heat. You've got Danhausen where you know, what is he, a vampire or whatever, this and that. And then you put someone kind of like a gingerbread Frankenstein, like in the size of an Eric Redbeard. Would it work? Yeah, it would have, but they're not going to do it. That, you know, they didn't think that through releasing. They could have waited another, but whatever. But we'll find out. Punkhausen, I think that's the one. The first one I thought about, but that's them. After last night, I was like, man, would it have been different if we returning Redhead and Sheamus, fellow Redhead, Ginger? But we will see there. Who's winning that match, Haas?
Oh, Danhausen and Mystery partner. It's the only way. It's the only way.
I think so. I think so too. I don't see them losing. I think they like it, unless Danhausen gets left alone and get pinned. We're gonna go right to the one and only female match that should have been on WrestleMania, but they're leaving it on Backlash with the two Yoshi wrestlers. Io Sky taking on Asuka. No Kyrie that we know of. Reports have it the 50% chance that she might show up, might not show up. You seeing the fake pictures of, she's in Tampa Airport. They do that shit every PLE with a wrestler supposedly at the airport, at that particular airport. Haas, do we see Kyrie, 1, and 2, who do you like winning?
We don't see Kyrie just for business purposes. I don't think TKO wants to open up. We want Kyrie chance on X again. That's died down because every movement in wrestling dies down like that because people don't have the time to focus on this type of stuff like this all the time. So yeah, I don't think we're going to see any Kyrie Sane. And for storyline purposes, I'm taking Asuka. I think Asuka and Io need a long program, a program that goes into SummerSlam for a rematch. Because honestly, if Io wins, what's the direction for either one of them? Where are they going? Like Io could possibly go to the international championship scene, but Sol Ruka's going to end up beating Becky. Then you're going to have face-on-face action, and we don't want that. I mean, it sounds good if you got a choose your fighter match on WWE 2K26, but for storyline purposes, that doesn't feed you like you want. And if Asuka goes with an Io loss, man, I'm scared to see she might not be on television because they gave Asuka, the Queen of the Ring finals last year. She was tag team champion multiple times. How else can you push her if she loses to Io? So I'm taking Asuka for the win.
Chris?
Yeah, I like that. I would agree. I don't know in the direction you could go for Io. And if you have Asuka win, Io could want her rematch. I don't want to see Io win and then go to SmackDown or hypothetically challenge, which is not going to happen, but I'm just giving out thoughts, right? Or challenge for a mid-card title because, again, I think Sol Ruka should win that and kind of run that division for a while. So I think Haas is spot on. You keep doing this for a little bit. I don't know if it has to be till SummerSlam, but I think you want to do another match with this. You have Io want her rematch because I don't think, or you could have Io win and Asuka demand the rematch as a heel. So either way, I think you get your rematch. But I agree. I think Asuka could get the win. She needs a big win too.
I think Asuka wins because I think they're going to play a story where Io has lost X amount of matches in a row. Has she lost her fastball? Has she finding herself and getting fans invested behind her? Where I think it's going to lead to possibly her winning the Queen of the Ring if they do it. So I think they're going to tell a story there. They're going to try to tell that there because remember, she's still a darling of Triple H in the creative booking and a friend of Rhea Ripley. So I could see where she could win Queen of the Ring and challenge Rhea Ripley if she still holds the title. If JC doesn't beat her for that title, that's your SummerSlam. Io Sky, Rhea Ripley for the world title at SummerSlam in Indianapolis if they want to go that route. So I think that's where they go. We'll see if they do. Maybe not, but I think I can see that there. Let me get this match up here where the Gingerbread Man ramifications, the Trick Williams defending his United States title against the beginner, the big ginger himself, Sami Zayn. Chris, who do you like in this match?
It's tough because I did a little circle predictions on my X earlier and I had Sami Zayn winning because I think they're trying to strengthen him up as a heel, but I think him losing and him going on a rampage would actually be better. I'm taking Trick Williams. Storyline purposes.
All right. You, Haas, what do you like?
I like Trick to win, but I got Sammy decimating him after the match. I mean, he just can't take it anymore. In the words of Chris, like he just that funeral was the last straw for him.
Yes.
He like, how dare you just play in my face like this? Y'all love a cookie lover more than you love me? I thought you were real Sami Zayn fans. Ride or die. No, we're done with you, Sammy. So you know what? He's gonna sit up there. He's just gonna demolish Trick and Lil Yachty after the match. Trick's gonna win, but yeah, Sammy wins in the end. We get the full heel turn. I don't think Trick is gonna ever just turn into a full face this year. It might be next year, but he's gonna be that tweener that everybody loves, like we got going right now. But yeah, Trick wins, but Sammy, we get the heel turn that everybody wants.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Last time I was watching it, I said I think Sami Zayn is gonna win, man. Shit. I'm still gonna stick with it. I think Sammy wins, man, because he's gonna generate that more heat. I don't hope I'm wrong. I am totally hope I'm wrong, but I'm gonna go with Sammy. I'm hoping for Trick, but something just gives me a bad feeling that Sami Zayn is gonna do a victory here.
Oh, one more thing before you move on. Sammy's gonna fail upwards. When this heel turn happens, he's going to the main event. Like no more mid card action for him. They're gonna let Trick just run the mid card for a while.
You're convincing me. You're making a great point, Haas, because if he does lose to Trick Williams, and then the next Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown, he's been having some interactions with Cody. And Cody, they've been both a little bit unpleasantly backstage, back and forth with each other. They've been, a little not offensive, but short with each other in the back, where Cody will say, "You let a gingerbread man get in your head, and you couldn't even win." And I think that's where Sammy snaps and turns, and he'll snap like a gingerbread cookie.
And that'll give Cody a program after he loses to Gunther, either at Clash or at the PLE after that, because Gunther's going to take that belt. But we'll talk about that later.
Or even before, like where Gunther's like, "Why you?" And now you could kind of wedge himself and push Gunther a little more back more. Because Sami Zayn had to be the wedge, like he did to Carmelo and Carmelo Hayes' WrestleMania moment, where I could see Sammy slithering in there again, and he get even more heat. It could work. It could work there. Bron Breakker versus Seth freaking Rollins. This one has me confused because we saw Monday Night Raw, the interaction before the Gorilla, when Roman was supposed to come out, before Pierce told him that Jacob is not in the building yet, and the face-to-face between Seth and Roman Reigns. But if he's, loses it to Bron Breakker, how is he going to get back there? Chris, who do you like between Seth and Bron?
I would like to see Bron Breakker win. He needs a big win here. I know they were supposed to have this match. Paul Heyman going through kind of making Seth Rollins, life hell with the Theory and Logan a little bit when Braun was out. He needs a big win, but there's a big chance I can see Seth, and this is why I'm between, is because that teaser we got on Monday, I think he needs a big win to go in strong into SummerSlam with Roman. So again, I know I said this last week or the week, whatever PLE it was at Mania. This is a match that who do I want to win is Bron Breakker. Who do I think is going to win is Seth Rollins.
I tend to agree with you. I'm not. Haas, your thought?
I'm right with you, Chris. I think Seth's going to win. They're going to protect Braun as much as they can because I believe we're going to get. They keep giving us Street Profits and the Vision interrupting all the time. So it's going to be a convoluted mess. That's how they're going to protect Braun. Because I'm right with you. Seth is right there in the eyes of Roman Reigns for SummerSlam. We're going to get that. And I think we're going to end up getting Bron Breakker and Obafemi at SummerSlam. I believe we're going to get a clash of the young superpowers. And that might end up in probably a DQ finish, but it's going to be something very strong to get us going, to get us ready for when Roman goes away for the fall. We're going to prop up our youngsters that way, and they're going to probably be chasing Seth. So that's how I see it. I got Seth Rollins winning tonight.
Interesting. All right. We'll move on to our co-main event. Yes, I'll explain why and afterwards. Jacob Fatu versus Roman Reigns, your tribal chief, the World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Your co-main event for tonight in Backlash. Do Jacob Fatu become tribal chief and World Heavyweight Champion, Haas?
No. Well, at this point blank period, no. Because you cannot make, if you make Roman Reigns a transitional champion, the rumors are going to open up. They're going to be like, okay, TKO and him are at odds over a contract extension or a pay cut. You take the aura off of Roman Reigns if he loses after winning 3 weeks. How you want to diminish a star? Triple H can he has the syllabus for it. Because last year Roman put everybody over last year. If he wasn't Roman Reigns, his star would be diminished. So he has the belt right now. He's made the World Heavyweight Championship the biggest belt in the company. And you have him lose at Backlash. I don't care if you protect him all you can. It makes no sense. So yeah, Roman wins. Jacob may not acknowledge him off the rip. He may not. But so just to keep this going into Clash. But yeah, Roman wins.
Your thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. I mean, I do not see Jacob Fatu losing. I don't think him losing to his cousin, and not just his cousin, but biggest star in the company, isn't going to hurt him. He'll probably go on to do something with the Usos. Maybe we see a new member in the next few months or something, or maybe he goes one-on-one with Jay in a big program in the future. Who knows? But maybe something is going to happen after Backlash with Jacob and the Usos. So, I mean, we know Roman Reigns isn't going to lose, but if I can give a reason behind it, that would be my reason. I think Jacob's going to do some stuff with the bloodlines, other members, and then maybe come back to it before they really go to Seth. It could be in the picture, but for now, I think Roman wins it. Maybe we'll see some shenanigans play out tonight, but I got Roman.
And I know we was like, I don't want Roman as a part-time champion. And that's now becoming with the open challenge and the lazy booking, that comment. When Roman is a part-time champion, it elevates everyone else because everyone now is buying to be that obstacle to go after Roman Reigns. We talked about this on our Monday Night Raw recap. The Intercontinental title scene has been on fucking fire right now just by adding the Ethan Page, Penta World Champion, because they all want to get to that next. They got something to do. They can emphasize and work on that division strong because Roman is the champion. And you don't need 20, you don't need 30 guys trying to wrestle for the world title at the same time because then it just becomes watered down. It becomes too much. You need guys to establish themselves, to get to the top of the mountain, climb that mountain, and eliminate one another. That's why it to me, I buy into it. I like it because the ratings continue to be elevated. People are watching, tuning in. Who is going to be that obstacle to take out the so-called part-timer? The part-timer is coming in and drawing ratings. You demand that. Why do we give him a main event segment? It's not because you're feeling sympathy. No, because the guy draws. Jacob, he's going through the process of getting elevated right now. What did Roman say in his promo? You're not ready yet.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say you're never going to be world champion. You're not ready yet. And they're doing that.
Yeah, Jacob Fatu is in the same boat as Obafemi, Bron Breakker. All our young stars is coming up. He's in that same boat. Because the thing about the way the WWE wants to carry their champions, you need to be able to have 10 and 15-minute segments every week. Yes. Whether you're wrestling or we're talking. You should be able to have the gravity of our TV show, have people on their toes the whole episode until they see you speak. And whether you like it or not, your champions are not going to wrestle that much on free TV. And I'm getting tired of that term too. It's not free TV. We pay a lot for these apps. There's no more free TV. So yeah, but you need to get used to the point of your champion not maybe wrestling 2 or 3 times on apps that are not PLEs going forth. I mean, you need to just go ahead and digest that. So if you don't get past that, you're going to be upset with the company a lot.
Yeah.
And here's another one. They're doing a hell of a job on preparing Jacob Fatu to take that next ascension. I know people don't like it. I know, Chris, you've been very vocal about it, not seeing the WWE superstars on ESPN and watching that. It's maybe a little
It's not their fault.
But here's the reason why. They're trying to make Jacob a household name. We just finished talking about it about an hour ago, about who's a mega superstar Hollywood-wise and who's just a wrestling star. They're trying to take Jacob and make him a mega superstar by putting him on mainstream ESPN and the shows, and that's their point of view. We don't agree with it right now. I'm not trying to talk you down out of it. You have your right to your opinion, but that's what they're trying to do.
I know that. It's, again, let me be a little more clear, because I don't like it. Has nothing to do with the WWE talent. It has everything to do with the ESPN anchors. It has everything to do with the specific ESPN anchor. I'm all for it, but the way, and again, it's not on WWE. It's not on these wrestlers. It's all on the producers of the specific show. First Take, Get Up, Sports Center. That's my problem, is they don't know how to involve wrestling with their sports show. Nothing to do with any of the wrestlers. I think it's great to see Danhausen on Sports Center, right? I think it's cool as a wrestling fan, as a sports fan, and as an ESPN fan. It's the way the anchors do it. They need to have pro wrestling analysts, or they, Kev, you know I don't like this guy, but they need to have, if they're going to have pro wrestling on ESPN, make sure Peter Rosenberg's the guy doing it. Because
that's what
does that make sense? That's my only problem with it.
And that's why ESPN is going to have their talent either evolve, or they won't be able to work there, or they will have their diminished schedule. That's on ESPN. Well, this is where this is the mission statement, and this is where we're pushing content towards. It's the same thing when they started getting into the boxing world. They brought in Max Kellerman from ESPN.
Right. Yeah, exactly. There you go. And then when they started getting the MMA, they had Ariel in before he really started his own stuff. So, you know, does that like everybody, when they got into combat sports, again, Ariel was that guy. Max Kellerman was that guy. You need to make Peter Rosenberg that guy. Joe Tessitore is a legit sports commentator. He will be busy in the fall. We might not even see him on SmackDown. That's my only problem. That is my only problem.
Pat McAfee. We did, for trying to gatekeep. We pissed off Pat McAfee.
And look, I liked it. I'm a fan of the McAfee show. If you go watch my number one, or the YouTube top shows of the year, Pat McAfee is number 2. So I watched the show. I enjoy it. He doesn't make it look like a mockery because him and his boys are fans of the show. That's my thing. Like, I didn't enjoy Pat McAfee being involved in that specific storyline, but the way the fans reacted, now he wants nothing to do with it. And look, I know I talked about this, so I'm not going to get into depth about the secret, why I think WWE uses him a little bit to an extent. But the point is, the wrestlers made out for good show TV on his show, and we might have just lost that because of the fucking fans. So they don't think outside of wrestling. They think only what they see on TV inside of a freaking ring. You don't think how that impacts other people like me who like watching the sports shows every single day. That's my frustration. It has nothing to do with the WWE talent. It has everything to do with the producers and the host on ESPN.
The ESPN on air talent. It's the economics. That's why we have an open mind. Because we know we want to see the economics. It's about economics. Everything in this world is about economics. What could grow? How do you grab that almighty dollar? That's all it is.
Yeah, the biggest thing is like ESPN. They will be very happy if Raw could get back to their initial show on Netflix, 6 million people, and we could get back to that number. Boy, we're cooking with oil, and we got to build up the younger stars to do so, because Roman putting people over, Cody putting people over. That's it. I mean, Punk is not going to put anybody else over. I just don't see it happening. I mean, that's why he's going to SmackDown soon. He's gonna be battling with Cody Rhodes and Gunther, because Punk ain't gonna put the young guys over. He's just not. He ain't gonna do it. I mean, I don't think he has nothing against them, but he's here not to make friends. He's here to make money. He told you this.
Yeah. And we'll find out. I think Roman's winning. We'll see where that story goes. I hope they leave us at the end of the night with great stuff. But the main event, I left the main event for last, is John Cena has an announcement. Epic.
Oh my God.
Ground changing. Changing the landscape of professional wrestling. All these hot topic words where it's going to affect the rookies to talent, the fan base. What could this main event announcement from John Cena has to do? I'm hoping it's not has to do with this WWE club. Personally, I hope it's not. When you're throwing out these hot keywords, engagement words, Chris, what do you think is going to be this announcement?
First off, if it is a WWE club, I'm going to enjoy a lot of people's rants.
Oh, that's going to be funny. That's going to be hilarious.
And I'm talking about Dave on Monday. So, but what do I think it's going to be? I'm not saying anything specific, but it's going to be the announcement of WrestleMania in 2028. That's what I think it's going to be. I don't know
So
where.
how does that help the rookies?
What's John Cena's exact words when he says about this announcement? Is it groundbreaking for what? The WWE, the wrestlers?
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna try to find a transcript because unfortunately now you can't play any fucking clips either. You can't play a little bit of a clip because they, they're zapping and saying, they're copywriting and stopping the clips. Where what we want to do is promote it and get a great reach. Regardless if there's only 2 people watching. And by the way, thanks everyone. We have over 500 plus on the X app. Thank you guys. You guys are fucking killing it. Thank you, Nap God. Behind the scenes helping. Appreciate you and Aaron, everyone that's joining us on here on this live stream. Guys, appreciation with a lot of love. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. But again, if we're trying to accentuate and trying to talk about you and you're going to copyright strike it, well, I get that. I know there's people making monetary and making money. We all could, but come on. We're trying to give you some ratings. We're trying to help you, talk about the program. And you guys want to copyright strike? That's another conversation where I don't want to get too much into it because we want to wrap this up. To me, I'm going to find the transcript, and Haas, I'm going to let you go while I do my research.
All right. I would feel sorry for John Cena fans because they've turned John Cena into a snake oil salesman. I would be very upset because you're going to get to a point where you're like, every time you see John Cena, you got to have your hands out. He's the tax collector, the tax assessor. He might as well be the IRS of the WWE. John Cena is here to sell you something, and you're gonna be like, man, John, I'm tapped out. I paid for the PLE. I paid for ESPN Unlimited. I paid for Netflix. I paid for A&E to watch LFG and all this. I have to see W, John. What else can you get from me? I have to pay rent. I've got to pay my light bill, John. Every time I see you, you want me to buy something. That's what this is about. John Cena finna come here and sell you something. That's all it is. Like, it's not gonna be anything that you want to see that's gonna really go with Backlash. It's gonna be something to get your credit card out, something to get your debit card out. It's just gonna do you dirty. It is gonna make John Cena look terrible in the light because he's a big corporate man. He feels like he's doing what's best for the business. And truth be told, what's best for the business might not be best for John Cena right now because they're just chipping away at his aura every time you see him because it's just going to be like, man, you're breaking me, John. You're breaking me.
Right here, I got it. It says, WWE Universe, hey, it's John Cena. I'm standing in the Thunder Alley outside of the Benchmark International Arena in Tampa. In a few days, I have a major announcement inside this building. It's going to be shock the very foundation of the WWE, from its fans, from its superstars, from champions, down to its rookies. So I'm grateful for Tampa for allowing me at their place to make this announcement. Thank you, WWE. See you live on ESPN, statewide, Netflix, yada yada. He says, here's the word: shocking the very foundation of the WWE, from its fans, superstars, from champions down to rookies. Now, 2 things could be a physical Hall of Fame where the rookies could go see the history of the company. Then, somewhere in I've said it many times, International Drive will be the best place in Orlando. You got Mickey Mouse, you got Universal Studios, you got Island Volcano, all that crap. Destinate tourists from around the world, they could come to a physical WWE physical Hall of Fame will be nice. to see, stuff like that. Maybe. I don't think that's that. Would love to see. I hope it's not Club WWE. It will suck. I would love them to say, you know what, for the it won't be the first time ever, but in the modern history, not even modern. WrestleMania is going to be in 2 nights in 2 different locations. I know WrestleMania 2 was in 3 different locations: Los Angeles, New York, and Chicago. They could do night 1 in Saudi Arabia, night 2 in the United States. But what will be, how does that benefit the rookie? They don't have creativity. They don't have a great creative minds or logistic-wise. I've said it many times, have a WrestleMania Palooza where you're going to have, give me a AAA match for the world. You want to put world champion versus the big mega campeonato for the AAA there. Here's the thing. It sucks that they're only going to do fucking 6 matches for WrestleMania. It's hard to book when you're only going to put 6 matches. What 6 matches are we going to put? You could put I would love to see next year on WrestleMania Ultimate X Weapon match for TNA on a WrestleMania. Talk about groundbreaking or company, very shocking the very foundation of the WWE. You put a TNA Ultimate X Weapon match or AAA Rey de Reyes finals at WrestleMania. You could put an NXT deadline match, on there. For Iron Survivor match at WrestleMania, something different. Talk about it, or something would evolve. A fatal 4-way. You changing the foundation of WWE. It's not typical WWE main roster. You're incorporating other matches from other brands that you're collaborating. That's an announcement. You're like, oh shit, that's different. I didn't expect that. We're having it in New Orleans, night number 2. Or anywhere in the United States, Indianapolis, Tampa. That would tell you, damn, that's shocking. The draft doesn't move me though. If it's a draft, they've been there. Is that shocking? It's been done before. It's been terrible. The drafts have been crap. What different? What's going to be groundbreaking because they're going to have it on ESPN? Is that the only thing I could think of for us to like, really?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to have the draft like it's we're going to have Adam Schefter come out. Yeah, I was told that Jada Parker has a big fat ass and she could really move it at 4.5 miles per hour. Come on.
That's you know what? The draft does sound like the most realistic thing.
That could be something. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, Kev. Like, if long as it's something that don't make John Cena look like someone who just wants your hand out every time, I'm cool on it. And I'm not even a big John Cena fan. I just don't want him to keep losing aura because he looks like the guy that knocks on your door and the IRS. Like, I mean, you owe your bills. Come on, come to me. Like no, John. No, John, I rooted for you for 30 years, John. Now you just want my money? No.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. You don't stop reaching in my pockets. Let me be the one to put my hand in my pocket. Let me be my Orange Cassidy. Unless if you're Harley Cameron. Want to put your hands in my pocket? That's different.
Fuck Orange Cassidy.
Oh, man.
They say they use the term "shake the foundation" of WWE every time they have an announcement announcing the draft. Yeah, you're right too, Aaron. Those keywords. We'll find out. At the end of the day, curb your enthusiasm. Expect the worst, hope for the best. That's the way I gotta say, guys.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. So please, thank you. Look, all the 545 on X. Thank you so much. Follow us, myself at PGH Chris TV, at the Filthy Haas, me, PG, Sports Jedi Media. Please follow us. We'll be back on for the watch along, and we're gonna have a post review show. This is the first of many of the streams. We're gonna take a break, lunch, shower, do all that stuff. Yes, we actually are wrestling fans that actually shower. Right? I love fucking dope.
I love it
and all that stuff. And by the way, before I say a little bit of a program note, rest in peace, Bobby Cox, former legendary manager of the Atlanta Braves, has passed away. If you know that in the 90s, Bobby Cox, a hell of a manager, former Yankee manager, but back in the days too, before that, Bobby Cox, a legend in the baseball world as a manager. First Ted, now Bobby Cox. Boy, if you're an Atlanta Braves fan, you're taking it on the chin.
I know JD's.
That's a tough one.
Yeah,
that's a tough one. Maybe that's where you should be taking your energy and reviewing and putting out some videos. But after you do what you got to do. My point, and also happy Mother's Day to the mom. Happy Mother's Day to the moms.
Call your mom.
We'll say that at the end of the review.
Give her a kiss. Do whatever you can for your mother. If she's still here for you, do what you can for her. Do that.
Yes. Without them, we won't be watching wrestling. So yes. So appreciate everyone. Thank you guys. We'll see you in a couple hours. May the sports be with you. This is the Sports Jedi Network. Thank you so much, man.
Tune in to Heel of the Ring podcast on the Sports Jedi Network channel. May the sports be with you. Because I am the hero the Sports Jedi deserves, but not the